Let's go. Uh, 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 uh. Oh, ladies,
Hey.
gentlemen, and everyone in between. Yes, indeedy. We feed the needy.
Mm.
We back, bitches. We back, bitches. Yes, sir.
Binder neutral motherfuckers.
Everybody.
Or yeah, everybody.
We a show for the people. We a show for the
Mm.
people. So,
Oh,
ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, do not adjust your dial. That's right. This is the Arizona Soul Podcast. I am your host, People's Arizona Verse, GPG, whatever the hell you know me by. That's who the hell I
easy.
am.
Really be
And
something.
he is Soul Papo. And
Yes, sir.
we back. We back.
Oh,
Arizona Soul Podcast. Yes, indeed.
they say it couldn't be done. Verse. They said we
Uh,
wasn't come back with another one.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
say
back to back to back. You know, we like the Warriors in this piece. Yeah, I mean, that's a sports reference. That's a sports reference. So
basketball. I know it's basketball,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I know that much.
Little basketball,
Okay.
little basketball.
And then you
So
see, only took 80 years.
yes, indeedy. So this is a podcast about nothing in particular, just hip hop, pop culture, whatever else we find entertaining. As always, subscribe to the show. That's the easiest way to, keep in tune with us. We're on Stitcher, we're on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. Just search Arizona Soul Podcast. It's that simple. Subscribe to us on the social medias. We're on Instagram under Arizona Soul Podcast. We're on Facebook under Arizona Soul Podcast, and we are on the Twitters at Arizona Soul Pod. That's right, Arizona Soul Pod. You can find me on Twitter at my favorite source of social media fuckery. And that is at P underscore E underscore O underscore P underscore L underscore E underscore S. Eventually, I'm gonna come up with a cool little Busta Rhymes freestyle to make that shit flow off the tongue a little better. That's still a work in progress. Uh, but also make sure to follow my main man, my brother from another, Soul Papo, on his main source of social media fuckery, which is
I guess you could Instagram. Yeah, I mean, really at Soul Papo anywhere you can to that motherfucker N SOULPAPO. Now,
yes,
I
indeed.
gotta ask you something first 'cause I know we got more of this intro to go through, but we be pumping brakes all the goddamn time.
That's what we do.
Uh, Twitter, that probably is that the last wild wild west of social medias?
Yo, Twitter, I absolutely love Twitter. And that's the reason why that is my main source of social media fuckery, because it is the wild, wild west. It is a open world chat room. Twitter is the Grand Theft Auto, the Skyrim of social
Oh,
media, where you could
oh,
just go through all the caveats or whatever, and you never know what you might run into. And the
you
key, the key to Twitter, real quick, is, as they always say, Twitter is, it's a story, if you will. You never want to wake up and be the main character that day. You don't want to be the main character on Twitter. That means yeah, they roasting your ass basically. So
Black Twitter about to fuck you, white Twitter about to stake you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's even a Latino Twitter. I think
it's got to
but
be.
there's gotta be. I mean, shit, hell, if there's fucking Muslim porn, you figure there has to be some Mexican Twitter. We,
Yes.
so besides, and I think I mentioned this before when I had to do when work from home wasn't the norm and I was experimenting. I remember, and I was kind of teeling off my work's internet, and I was like, "Damn, how am I going to bust this nut without having to bust into the memory bank?" And I would use Tumblr as my way to try to find ish.
Yo,
Twitter is just that good,
it is.
except you just might get a whole lot of cock when you don't want it. You know?
And you mentioned Tumblr, and like Tumblr broke my heart, because anybody who's been listening to the show since its inception, that was my original main source of social media fuckery, was
Yeah,
Tumblr. I
you did it
absolutely love
all.
Tumblr.
You can even
But
time shit. Oh, people would have never
yeah,
known I was dead because
it,
I would have been fucking,
I know
you know what I'm saying?
you could queue shit up for the next 250 years on Tumblr. It was so great. And then they dropped the titties from Tumblr,
Is that
and
what
like it
happened?
all fell to shit. Like, and they,
Is that when Yahoo bought them?
yeah, I think when Yahoo
Okay.
bought them, they got rid of all the adult content, which then on the
Mm.
flip side kind of sucked, because again, and shots out to the sets workers or whatever, we love y'all too. That was the whole thing, is that a lot of sets workers were using Tumblr to promote their stuff and promote their vids and promote their pictures and PayPal us this, so on and so forth or whatnot. And yeah, when Tumblr got rid of all that, that messed up a whole ecosystem for a whole bunch of people, similar to when YouTube stopped letting you talk about serious stuff and monetize or whatever. Like we started, like the podcast finally got to a place where it was monetized through YouTube, and it was like, oh dang, at this pace or whatever, within 12 months or whatever, the YouTube page will pay for the podcast itself. And oh, did YouTube come in and shut that shit down? And here we are back on our grizzly. So yeah.
You're doing it though, with way more ways for motherfuckers to connect. You're talking about how when Tumblr went down, Snapchat kind of picked up the slack when it came to sex workers. Are we on? We're not on Snapchat yet, is we?
No, we are not as a page on Snapchat. That's two other things I want to eventually do is get a Snapchat page. And then also I would love, because the other main source of social media fuckery, which I'm not creative enough yet to figure it out, is TikTok. Like TikTok is where it's at. And I want a TikTok page for the podcast page. I just don't know how to make that work, but we're gonna figure it out. So
Oh, good.
coming to a TikTok near you.
Yeah, fucking 2 minute clips and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
know, because that's the thing. Like when we start waxing poetically or whatnot, we talk for a lot longer than 2 minutes, if you will.
yeah,
So I don't know if it's gonna work on the
it's quick
TikTok.
takes,
That's for,
quick takes, some provocative. You know what I'm saying? Something that the hoes want to hear.
yeah, I mean. So
What happens?
oh,
What if they want to hear our voice? They can call us, can't they?
and last but not least, if y'all want to talk to us, give us a call. 480-588-4688. That's right. 480-588-4688. Let us know what's on your mind. And yeah, give us a call. If you agree with us, disagree with us, you want to kick a freestyle, you want to just ramble, do your thing or whatever, that's where you do it at 480-588-4688. What I mean?
Yo, it was funny because I guess my grandma's the ultimate keeper of like documents for some fucking reason. I don't know
Yeah.
who the hell gave her my birth certificate and my passport, but apparently I must have, I guess. And every time, and that she's like the bank, you go there to get your paperwork and whatnot. And anyway, she had this paper of some kind of letter of certificate from when I was back in '94, right?
Okay.
And the reason I mention this is because not just because your boy was scholastic, you know what I'm saying? Fucking, I had the highest truancy, and they gave a motherfucker award for it. But no, in the bottom of the letter where he gave the phone number, there wasn't a fucking area code. Do you remember life before area codes, man?
Yo, it
How
is funny
old are
that you
we?
do. We are old, bro, because that is one of the things where I do remember the world before. I remember Arizona before 480. I remember
Right,
Arizona
right,
when it was all 602.
right.
And now there's in Yuma or whatever is like 928. I want to say that's the area
928, yeah.
code. Yeah, in my
Oh, and
career or whatever, I should know area codes. I deal with those a lot or whatnot. But yeah, I do remember a world when we did 7-digit dialing, and that's not the world that we live in anymore.
and one thing that I remember even more so, because we were 602 and then eventually 623, so on and so forth, is that to have a 480 number, ooh, you bougie.
Yep.
Ooh, you're on
Yep.
the East Coast where they fuck, or the East Coast, you're on the East Side where they fucking properly fucking budget their schools. Ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
480.
and I'm not saying that I know, but if you had that work, you push that greenery in the 602, you push that white in the 480. I
Ooh,
don't know the formula. I'm just saying that that's what I heard.
it's
That's
harder to
what I
get.
heard.
I'll admit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean. And speaking of things that I heard, and I'm a tad disappointed, but I'm excited, and I'm counting down the moments until I have a fucking free moment. Yo, Spider-Man No Way Home is apparently absolutely incredible and like a tearjerker in one of the greatest like Marvel movies of all time, and just all these great
Like
superlatives
that.
and all that. I'm hearing some good stuff about
Yo,
it,
so
man. I
I've
can't
been
wait.
trying to stay away from reviews because they're
Yes.
gonna, because again, opinions. You know what I'm saying? It's are biased,
Yeah.
and as much as reviewers try to be a certain way, you got to understand too. You're especially with Marvel movies, and I know you've been a Spider-Man fan since the jump. Like
Yes.
there's the hardcore, right? There's the elitist comic book collectors. There's the fuckers that grew up on the cartoons, and there's those that they look at the 2002 joint and be like, "That's the OG," right?
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, and again, makes you feel even more old when you realize that motherfuckers had a '60s fucking bullshit fucking TV show. But what was I saying? Oh, okay, so you can't satisfy everybody.
No,
But
you can't.
from what I heard on all that they kind of crammed into this bitch, they were really going for it.
Yeah.
And they haven't had a third since the Maguire series, and they jumped the
Yeah.
shark on that bitch, and people really hated on it. I don't
That's
know if you
right.
remember.
That's right. No, I do remember because the third one was when they introduced Venom, right?
Yeah, and maybe they fucked up by putting the fucker from that
Eh,
'70s show as
oh
the
my
lead
god.
character,
I was
but
so mad because I absolutely love Venom. Venom is one of my favorite like villains from the Marvel universe too, and just the whole thought process behind it. But yeah, that '70s show, like Eric, whatever his name is, like really, I'm supposed to believe that that's Venom. Like, come on, like whoop his ass, dog. Come
well,
on.
see, and you know what's funny is that you put him up against Tobey Maguire, just regular ass Tobey Maguire, and not to call them pansies, but they're obviously he's meant to be a nerd, even though he's a fucking 30-year-old playing a
Yeah,
teenager and shit. Like the thing that was kind of like he would smash on him, no powers included, and Eddie Brock was supposed to be that Mr. Steal Your Girl, you
that's what I
know?
thought. Yes,
Yeah, so like it definitely didn't fucking click.
just
Adding
didn't match.
Tom Hardy or whatever that dude's name is, Mr. Beefcake
Yeah.
himself. Yeah, that's Mr. Steal Your Bitch right there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and
For
I
sure.
still haven't seen any of those because those are R-rated, if I'm not mistaken. And so, like all the Marvel stuff we've been watching with the kids. And so, Venom, I ain't had a chance to see that. It was actually funny because we're going back. We have Disney Plus, so we're going back and we're watching all of the Marvel movies because I also haven't seen all of them. But we're watching the Marvel movies, but we're watching them in the not in the order that they were released, but in the chronological order of what the order of the events that happen. And
Okay.
so yeah, so like when you do, so if you watch in the order of the release, the first movie is Iron Man. But if you watch in the order of when the events happen or wherever, Captain America is the first one because that happened in the 1950s. So like
Word, word.
start with Captain America, and then you go into Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel was in the 90s or whatever, and you go on so on and so forth from there or whatnot. But it was funny because we got to the Incredible Hulk movie, and the Incredible Hulk movie wasn't on Disney Plus at first, and not the one with Ed Norton or whatever, but the newer guy before the current guy, if you will. So we had to rent it from like Amazon Prime or whatever and all that. It was PG-13, and it was
Mhm.
absolutely hilarious because there was one scene when like him and his love interest or wherever they like start making out, and then he like throws her on the bed, and then he like takes her leg and like throws up on the arm, and like Skips jumped up immediately and hit that fast forward because the boys is right there. It was like, oh, they are wowing right now. Let me go ahead and skip up a little bit. So yeah, yeah. But
And none
Marvel,
of those, and those were definitely pre fucking Marvel series. So like, it's funny that you're seeing them
yes.
in that order. But I think same thing with the Venom. Technically, it's a Sony property, and I'm pretty sure they're still. I don't know how the ownership happens. Like, they obviously got the shit end of the
And
deal because but
And what I'm excited about, I haven't heard anything about Venom just yet or whatever, but that has been the big thing is that Disney owns a whole bunch of different things, and then Sony owns a whole bunch of other things. And that's part of the reason why like the X-Men haven't been, in the universe or whatever.
that
And
was a
that
Fox
it
property. But they
oh
bought
yeah,
them motherfuckers.
that's right. Now the beauty of it, and we'll see as these phase four, whatever phase that we're in, we'll see as things progress. But I know that was the rumor with the whole No Way Out and how like Doctor Strange, folded the timelines into each other or whatever. That is the rumor, is that is how eventually Deadpool and the X-Men and everyone else starts
Oh
popping
shit.
current Marvel universe because the timelines blended, and that's the reason why we weren't seeing the X-Men. They were in a different universe. So yeah, I can't
Oh.
wait. I can't wait.
I mean, honestly, there was I don't know if you kept up with any of the X-Men joints, but one of the last ones, it might have been Days of Future Past. They pretty much did one of the things that people hated on it, and I'm not gonna spoil it, is that they did do reverse time sort of shit to where they're like, you know what, that last movie that everyone hated, that really never happened. And this is how it went down. And fucking your Wolverine's still Hugh Jackman, like so
And that's from a storytelling perspective. I'm someone who dabbled in writing screenplays or whatever. That is the reason why a lot of people hate the timeline thing or whatever, is that it's a lazy form of writing, because all you have to do is
Cheat.
make a whole bunch of mistakes. They'd be like, oh, we're going back into another timeline, and oh, forget all that bad stuff that we did. It's a lazy, cheap way of writing.
Yeah,
So
like dick and
yes,
fight jokes. Come on now.
you did.
He's
But I know, speaking of Spider-Man and Venom beefing with each other, real quick. So I spent, I've been talking the past couple episodes about Web 3.0,
Mhm.
and I've spent my first week on Web 3.0, and your boy already got a beef with somebody. Already got into it with somebody. I
Ooh,
thought I thought we left that on Web 2. I'm on Web 3. I'm already beefing with niggas. I don't know what's
oh,
going on.
okay. So is it black on black? Because I imagine the racists would have caught up to us. No.
No, so I just mean nigga in the sense of this nigga need to leave me the fuck alone. I don't know what he is, but I'll share the image. So I own Ecency. So, and actually, yeah, you can follow the podcast at ecency.com/ at Arizona Soul Pod. And this Ecency, for those who don't know, is essentially like the Reddit version, or it's the 3.0 version of Reddit, if you will.
Okay.
Now it has the same thing where you put posts or whatever and all that, and then you could thumb stuff up, you could thumb stuff down or whatever, and then as people thumb up your stuff, you like transfer like cryptocurrency to them, so like you can literally start making money off your posts because people are engaging with it or whatever. Instead of that money going to like advertiser, it's going to the people posting the content. Now I don't know what the hell I did, Papo, but apparently I pissed somebody off because a dude hopped on our page for the Good Life podcast, the last podcast, and the guy left a comment. And this is a Shadow. And I found you because of a downvote you cast on a post talking about loss. Anyone that would take such an action is someone not worth seeing or hearing. You will be muted by me when I am done with my comment. You are soulless. You have no soul. Actions speak louder than any words you can speak. Enjoy your time on Hive. I'm just one person, so my muting you will have zero effect on you and your soulless content creation.
Yo, that's ass backwards. If anything, we have a whole lot of stuff. I think that's the whole point of this motherfucker, to be honest with
This
you.
is the Arizona Soul Podcast. That's half the podcast. Oh my god.
And you put fucking shame on my name. Come on now.
Oh my god. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing because literally me and this dude like went got into it for like a couple of days or whatever. I will kind of summarize it at the very end. But no, I had started off and like I got the comment. I'm like, oh snap. I'm like, oh, I was like, if I downvoted someone, it was on accident. I was like, I have no idea how this app works. And he was like, if you were new, you should have looked more closely. And he sends me a link to like this whole like blog thing. And it's pretty simple. And then if you go over on this website, it shows you all this, and it's impossible to do
Motherfucker
this
gave
on
you a
that.
step
And,
by step instructions, it looks like, in this motherfucker with screenshots.
yo, with screenshots. And I said again, what post did I downvote? I was like, I've been on this site for 7 days, and you're chastising me about not reading up on FAQs to sites I have never heard of. Like, bruh, I don't know what you talking about. I was like, since you're the OG on this site, you should use your knowledge to educate, not talking a tone from a keyboard you wouldn't keep in person. Relax. And I was like, again, I was like, if I made a mistake, that's my bad. But be safe though, beloved.
Hey,
Um,
much love.
then he hit me with some more screenshots. If you don't use Ecency's front end and you do not use a mobile device, once again, the downvote on ECC is like peak D, and it seems to be hidden, and it would take to work. Bruh.
It,
I finally. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, you fucking with my money, so you fucking with my emotions. That's what it must have been. You must have really fucked with this algorithm.
I
That
messed that. I broke. I broke the algorithms. My bad, dog. I've been complaining about the algorithms on Facebook broken. My bad. I broke your algorithms. But then he summarized at the end. He sent another screenshot and like click this and you don't click that. He said, "I am only one person, so no need to worry about one unimportant persons." And once again, I would not hesitate to point out rudeness or inappropriate actions on the part of anyone in real life, face to face, in the middle of a grocery store with onlookers. All caps, wrong is wrong. Excuses are excuses. The world is in this piss poor shape because people do not hold people accountable for their actions and are willing to accept any excuse from people. So I wrapped it up. I said 480-588-4688. Give me a call if you got more to say. If not, be safe though, beloved. Bruh, I'm from this. I'm from the south side of Phoenix. You got me all the way fucked up, bruh. Like, you need to lower that tone.
You
Well,
getting real
bruh,
loud right now,
you getting
and
real loud from that keyboard.
yo, but the time this motherfucker must have had because he made it look real nice on them screenshots. Like this
Oh,
motherfucker had an Excel spreadsheet. He fucking had the formulas and the HTML codes, whatever it is it takes to make a
yeah,
motherfucker look that pretty. He really
yeah,
did.
the data validation import range, x equals concatenate on
Fucking a
row
page of
A3.
resources and references. Like,
Bruh. And if I wasn't so mad at dude, I would read through all of this because I'm pretty sure it has some good information so I can figure out how
oh
to navigate
no,
this whole
I figured
ECT
he was
thing.
as much as he was being a piece of shit, he was being very helpful. And like I
Yeah.
almost want to say I like him, even though I don't like how he just misunderstood this motherfucker as how he has mistaken us. But
Oh my
goddamn.
God. All this for a downvote. I still, at the end of the day, I
Yeah.
don't know what post I downvoted. And if it was something about loss, like I'm assuming he means like somebody died, and I put a downvote on the thing. Okay, my bad. Like, if that happened, my bad. Literally, I've been on there for 7 days. I didn't clicked around on a couple things. I don't even know any post that he's talking about. Like,
You know, what's funny is that this shit kind of reminds me, like you just caught this motherfucker on the wrong day. Like you catch my
uh-huh.
grandpa at any time of the day. You want to complain about Cigna or waste management? This motherfucker is ready to fucking tongue you down in information. And
Oh, this dude had time. Oh, he hopped on the internet that day. He saw that down post or whatever. And he said, "Oh, I got time today. They got me fucked up. Hold on. Let me hold
not
on.
today, not
Not
in
today,
my
brother.
fucker.
Not today. No, we're not having this on my internets." So,
I told you my son, right? When he fucking plays Spider Man on the PlayStation, he just be. I don't know if I told you this. He because he doesn't
mhm,
really know how to play, so just
of
swinging
course.
around is fun and shit. But he figured out how to like swing like to that when you're in the public in the city, you can like grab trash cans and
Oh.
mailboxes and just swing them around. And for some fucking reason, he would just do out of nowhere, be like, "Not in my town." And I'm like, what fucking YouTube shit were you watching that you heard that
Did you
phrase?
heard that?
Not in my city. Like this motherfucker really said that. I was like, where
Oh.
the fuck did he get that from?
Oh my
Like,
God. You
yeah,
gotta love it.
yeah.
Gotta love it. I know. And speaking of not in my town, oh my God, I hate that this is going on in my town.
Mm.
Your favorite YouTuber, uh Jake Paul, is undefeated in boxing, bro. He's 5-0.
What
This
is
dude
this?
is
What is
5
it?
and 0.
I thought this shit was like on some
Oh,
Borat shit. Like I thought this was a joke. You know what I'm
bruh,
saying? Don't mistake. I don't know. The
bruh.
new like Jesus.
So
Look at him. He look incredible.
yo, so and I give it to, so I'll start all of this off with saying or whatever, all power to Jake Paul. I'm not fully mad at the dude because the dude is in shape. He's taking this seriously. He's actually getting boxing lessons and he's actually working on his craft. And he's not like, I remember the first dude he fought, I think was that KSI YouTube guy or whatnot. And
Right.
then it was one of those things where it's like, okay, that's going to be a one hit wonder
Mhm.
type thing. But then he like kept going and then he's been actually training and so on and so forth. And so now he's at a point now. And after, so for those who don't know, he just won his second fight against Tyrone Woodley, and Tyrone Woodley is a former UFC middleweight champion, who is a great fighter or whatnot. And so, like, he did fight a legit fighter, and then the fight before that, he fought Ben Askren, who also was like a world class like wrestler that then went to the UFC and was like a up and coming guy in the UFC until he got a real bad like knee KO to the head, and like his career hadn't been the same since then or whatnot. But I say all that to say that Jake Paul, outside of the YouTube dude that he fought the first time, he's not fighting scrubs. He's fighting some actual athletes or whatever.
Up
But
and out about the game is what I've noticed.
That's the thing. So Ben Askren was on a 2-fight losing streak and basically had left the UFC or whatever because his massive like flying knee kick that he got from Jorge Masvidal, and he ain't been the same since. So he was out. And then Tyrone Woodley, even though, and I got a video clip I'll play in a second or whatever where you can see the knockout. Tyrone Woodley is a legit fighter. He was in the UFC for years. He was absolutely dominant. Couldn't nobody see him until my boy, shouts out to my Nigerians, to my guy Kamur Usman, did that 1-2, whooped his ass wherever, took the belt. And then Tyrone Woodley would proceed to lose his next 4 fights in the UFC before his contract ended and he left. So it's kind of twofold where with Ben and with Tyrone, both of them were in the UFC, but both of them were on multi-fight losing streaks before they left. And the other part for people who don't like know fighting or whatever and all that, Ben and Tyrone. Oh yeah, see, so I'm trying to help you out, Papo. So so for the people, or so for Tyrone and for Ben, the other thing that a lot of people don't know is that the two of them were wrestlers. And that's the thing with UFC is in UFC, it's mixed martial arts. So you could bring any type of fighting style into the UFC. I can tell you right now, boxing doesn't work in the UFC because boxing, you're only using your hands.
There's too
You got to
many
be able,
counters for that shit.
you got to use your whole body. So you have a lot of wrestlers who get in the UFC and they're absolutely dominant. But these guys don't throw hands. They wrestle. They wrestle you down to the ground. They tire you out. They throw you in a chokehold. They choke you out. So I say all that to say that while Jake Paul hasn't fought some, bums from some YMCA, if you will, he's
He ain't
not
fighting
also fighting
strikers.
boxers. He's not fighting no strikers.
And that's what I noticed with his, because he's been winning by knockout, has he not? Has he not been winning by knockout each one of these shows?
So KSI, I can't remember. Nate Robinson, he knocked out, but Nate Robinson was a basketball player. Ben Askren, he knocked out, and the Ben Askren knockout looked a little fake to me. And then the first time he beat Tyrone, it was a decision. It came down to a decision.
Mhm.
But this time when he fought Tyrone, no, he knocked this nigga the fuck out. I'm gonna go ahead and I got the video. I'm not gonna play
Cue
the
the Eric.
audio.
I was gonna say,
Uh,
cue the Erica Badu.
yeah, let me go ahead and queue up this 1-2 thing.
Tyrone.
So you better call Tyrone. So look at this. So he measures him up,
Mm-hmm.
hits him, sweat all off the head. He
Cold.
hits the ground. Now, me as someone who watches UFC every single Saturday, I watch 7 hours of UFC. I know the fight world, if you will. This is real because he hit the ground. He hit the ground in a very unsafe way. If you're in same thing with watching wrestling, if you fall, you're gonna fall a certain way to not hurt yourself. This guy fell right on his chest, and you could
goddamn chin first.
he hit chin first, and then you could tell like when the ref puts his hand on his back, you could tell like the way he's breathing. That's him knocked unconscious for a couple of seconds, and that's his body going into autopilot, sucking in some air into his lungs or whatever. This nigga got knocked the fuck out. That was a legit knockout. Yeah.
Ooh, the booty jiggled and everything. Goddamn.
It was absolutely hilarious. Shouts out to, I think it was Dragonfly Jones. Dragonfly Jones said the thing that makes this knockout even more hilarious is that dude is sponsored by Dude Wipes. So he got knocked out and he's on the ground, ass cheeks all up in the air, Dude Wipes, all on the booty, just Dude Wipes.
That
Oh
shit was
God.
coordinated, brother. Then you know what I call conspiracy because that's too good of product placement. Now, yo,
Just right on the cheeks.
what's man? What did I? So Jake Paul, he's from out here, right? Is that why you were saying that?
So that's a good question. So I don't know if they're from out here, but I know they
Like
have a house out
Scottsdale.
here
Okay.
because when the
His
civil unrest was going on,
his
oh,
dumb ass
that where
was
you
there
going?
fucking shoplifting for the goddamn Paradise Valley Mall. Out of all places. Oh yeah, it's in solidarity, brother. You're fucking stealing some goddamn Nikes. You're stealing from the Asians now. It's a hate crime.
It's a hate crime now. It's a hate crime. Goddamn. So no, yeah. So it's absolutely crazy. And like I can't believe this motherfucking won again. I, as someone who's a member of the black delegation, Tyrone Woodley has been traded. I don't care what race wants to pick him up as a free agent, but he is no longer a Negro. He literally, what makes it so bad was he lost that first fight by decision. And he was like, no, I can beat you. I can beat you. And then Jake Paul was like, I'll fight you again. But in order to fight you, you got to get my name tattooed on your body. So Tyrone Woodley.
For real? That was
Yes.
for real, right? Okay.
So Tyrone Woodley on his middle finger got tattooed "I love Jake Paul." So you got this white man's name tattooed on your finger, and you let him knock you out, bruh, bruh. Wherever Tiger Woods went, you got to go hang out with that delegation. You ain't with us no more.
Damn,
You over there. You've been
damn.
traded.
Sponsors gave him up. His people gave him up. You know what I'm saying? So these
His
are malicious start, bro.
his mama was laughing at him. There was a post fight thing or whatever, and like Jake Paul, like had his mom around, like Tyrone Woodley's mama, and she laughing or whatever and all that. I'm like,
No
they just
shit.
keying it up. Like we just all just making fun of you, dog. Like
It was paid, bro. It was paid. Come on now. Booty Wipes is a sponsor. Mama laughing it up. Don't no one love a black man more than his mama,
yep.
or any really motherfucker in general, right? Because we ain't shit. But come on now, like bitch, you know I'm paying you for this, right? Smile, bitch, smile. Squeeze
Smile.
you a little bit tighter.
Smile for the camera. So yeah, it's all crazy. And one other thing though, too, real quick with Jake Paul. This this article that came out just before the fight, where basically Jake Paul claims that concussions have led to memory loss and slurred speech since he first started fighting. Basically saying that he has some boxing related brain injuries. And I'm not going to read the article, but to all that, I would say, yeah, no shit. That's actually the thing when it comes to fighting. Um, so
Did we not learn
MMA,
from Ali? God damn it!
and so that's what it is. So like UFC, even though it looks more violent, UFC is actually safer than boxing because with boxing, you're just punching in the head.
Right,
90, 75% of the punches is going to the head, couple body shots, it's all in the head. You have some fighters who go through their entire UFC career and have never been knocked out because they're wrestling or they're doing submission moves or whatever, or various things like that. So it's a lot less head damage. So I'm not surprised that Jake Paul is experiencing brain injuries because, for one, not only is he, boxing or whatever, two, you're not an actual boxer. So you're not defending yourself properly or whatever. So dudes is hitting you upside your head. You just a big, young, strong kid. And that's the reason
right.
why you're still around. So
Yo, not to even, because I didn't know the full context of the full story, but you know them island boys, right? They were on
I
some podcast, and I guess they were kind of getting out of pocket. They were flexing,
saw
and
that.
I don't know if it was him or his brother, because I always confuse him and his brother a lot. But motherfucker had like stepped in and like told him, "All right, no, it's done." Like back and like right away, like just like skedaddle, and he scared these little motherfuckers. Like, yeah, yes sir. Like, okay, bet.
Yeah. And it's funny too because I had saw this whole thing where it was on TikTok and whatever, because I can't tell them dudes apart.
Right,
But one of them island boys or whatnot was chilling, like he went to some city or whatever and all that, and some dudes checked him on some G shit. They was like, "Yo, bruh, like this is our town. You need to check in." You didn't check in. And he was like, "Oh no, my bad, ain't even like that. Like I knew you guys were from like that side of town, but like I'm on this side of town, so I didn't know I had to check in over here." They was like, "No, you in our city, you got to check in no matter what block you on." And they were like, "You see how easily we could have touched you? Like, bruh, if we wanted to clap you, you see, we knew exactly where you were at and we caught you as you was coming out to your car. Like, check in next time." And that again is the thing. And this goes to Takashi 69s and all these other, studio gangsters or whatever and all that. There's some real gangster shit going on out there. So like it's best if it's okay to be that nerd. It's okay to be yourself. It is okay. Don't put on an image unless you're ready to die for it. And a lot of these cats ain't ready to die for it. Takashi was talking all that shit the second the feds came knocking. He was like, "It was him and it was him and it was him." It was them. Like he got to snitching. So just be
I,
yourself.
I don't even want to sound like a Takashi apologizer, but there was some setup to that. All right, now,
It was a little
but
setup. Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a little setup to that. But as far as like with the Island Boys, like I'm wondering to myself, like maybe just like to hear them kind of break character for a little bit and be like, "Oh, dog, what check in? Like, do I need you need my credit card information? Like I checked into the Four Seasons and you
You
know,
dig? You know who, and you just mentioned break character. You know who I've been waiting to break character because this is gonna happen eventually. What's her name? Woe Vicky. I've been waiting for Woe Vicky to break character.
bro, no man, no,
It's it's
she
been
got
sticking
strong to
strong.
them, yeah, real strong. But you know what? And it's funny because there's this bitch I hated with all my life. I may have ruined her life once or twice, apparently. And I try to, that's why I try so hardly to have my sins washed because I know how much of a motherfucker I am. Anyways, how did I mention this bitch? Oh, she was just a pathological liar, bro. Like
Mm.
I don't know if there's another word for it, to where she fooled herself, and I really do believe like
She believed her lies.
she believed her lies, bro.
Yeah.
And one of the things that fucked me up, because mind you, I should have realized that I know Christianity is a play on with politics, and I
Yeah.
forget that it's an image for everything. So when I saw her getting dunked into some holy water and she was being baptized, and yet she still kind of twerked it for the fucking gram, I'm like, I don't
My
know.
God.
Is it? Is it? I mean, who am I to judge? Right? Is it? It must be okay, right? She just got holy water, but again, it's stick, brother. And who was her homie? No. Fuck. One of
No,
who was that one
not
that had the
Bad Baby,
albino friend?
right?
Was it Bad Baby? Who was the one who had the albino
No,
homegirl?
it was Woe Vicky who has the albino homegirl that's like almost blind or whatever. That was that Woe Vicky crew. I don't know if all of them
Okay,
hang out together.
okay.
I feel I hate that I know so much about Woe Vicky and her friends. I don't think they hang out anymore.
this, this once we get into a later segment about which shit describes you as a person, like it really is telling, because again,
Says a lot.
fucking information. God damn. Anyway.
Information.
But it's all
Information.
that fakeness. It's all image. It's all, what I'm saying, what they're trying to lead up to, or what they're trying to keep a facade on. And the next story, man, it has me a little bit. I'm a little bit salty on it, just because I want to believe in true love. I want to be able to believe
Mm.
in forgiveness. I want to be able to believe that, why can't I have my bitch right? This is just my side bitch, okay?
It's
She
just
only here because my main bitch ain't here, because she
just
real
on the
mad at
side.
me right now. But she better
Yo,
forgive me. She
yo,
gonna hit
what was the Trinidad song?
my
My side bitch is my
my
main bitch
new
because my
bitch,
main
my
bitch
main
don't.
bitch,
Ooh,
some
I
shit,
can't
no
remember.
more.
That was that fire. That was that
Hella
fire.
Millie's like,
No
no
more.
more.
No mo. That was my shit. But yeah, shouts out to the boy Kanye Titta. So Kanye and Kim have been going through their divorce or their new season of the Kardashians or whatever's going on with
Mm.
them. But Kim Kardashian said that Ye's attempts to win her back are strange because he has a live-in girlfriend.
This is what I'm saying. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean he don't love Kim.
He
Baby, that don't mean I don't love you.
his side bitch is his main bitch because his old bitch don't love him no more. Like it's that simple. Like if Kim would have just listened to the record, she'd understand like what's going on with him. She'd understand.
Trinidad James done taught me a lot, especially that little skit that he had about he ain't handy, or Henry the handyman, or remember
Yep.
that shit? That
I
shit
remember
taught me
that.
a lot.
That was my
If
jam.
y'all don't know, y'all really gotta. I wish I knew the name of the skit. I wish I could show it off more. But
I know
no,
because it's on the 10-piece gold album or
was
mixtape. I
it?
think it
I
was
thought it
called
was on a
10-piece
mixtape. It was on
gold.
a mixtape, and that's why I got so
Yeah.
why I wasn't so hurt on. And it's funny how, and again, and I don't know if that's just how powerful the mainstream is. I don't know if that's just because how quickly and more often we have these artists that have that one song. But remember, mixtapes were a thing. And
Oh
that
my god.
shit sometimes
Listen.
went harder than the albums. And as much as I'm not a fan of Lil Wayne and I refuse to give him his flowers, I can admit that his mixtapes though would put fire to most of the Carters after 3. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes. I miss that era of hip hop where you would have the album getting ready to come out or whatever and all that, and they would drop the mixtape, and then they would freestyle or they would do songs over other people's records, or whatever, and all that. And like 50 Cent and them, like G Unit, did it incredible because that was the whole thing is that they spent. I think they made like millions of dollars off their mixtapes or whatnot. And that was the thing that 50 was taking everybody else's beats, and that, 50 was super big with the melodies and all that, and 50 was taking everybody else's beats and he was making better records to it.
right.
And so I remember that was the thing, like, oh, snap, new G Unit. Oh, I'm there. Like, oh, I can't wait to hear that new G Unit.
See,
So
so then there was a transition, because I wondered to myself, how can these people make money off these tapes? Because I know sure as shit they're not going to be wanting to share royalties or have to divvy shit up, or maybe they do have to pay a fee. Maybe the invest, because I always thought that the investment of a mixtape, at least when it was fire or consistent, was because it was the prerequisite to the album that was about to come out. So,
yeah,
for example, Wale and something about nothing, right? And then it was it was a thing that went into then his whatever major labels debuts and shit. Well, he's
yeah,
always
yeah.
major labels, but uh, again, that stepping stone for the actual album. So I don't know how, but mind you, you get a mixtape as, let's say, for example, the Texas era, right, where we had
Mm,
the Young Thug, not Young, the Slim Thugs and the Paul Walls, and they made money off mixtapes because they were literally selling out the trunk. But that was literally self funded albums, right? The
yeah.
indies and shits. So when I started getting into again using other people's beats, which again proved very promotional, like I don't know how that made them money. And I'm wondering at the same time, is that what
Yeah.
kind of got these motherfuckers broke? Because that shit costs money. That's advertising right.
So from what I know, because that was the whole thing, you would do the mixtape or whatever. I know like G Unit were selling them out of their trunks, and that's how
Right.
they were like making money, if you will. And I remember the DAT Pips and a whole bunch of the different ones. There was different deals that you can do where they would like put your mixtape for free, but then they would like pay you
Oh,
on the side or whatever and all that, so on and so
and shit,
forth.
that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, okay.
But it was DJ Drama. It was when the feds kicked down DJ Drama's door. That's when everything changed and the mixtapes died. That it was when the feds kicked down DJ Drama's door, and music has not been the same since then, or the mixtapes haven't been the same since. And that's the reason why now people put out mixtapes, but it's original content. And then now, like you go on somebody's streaming service or wherever, and they have mixtapes and they have playlists and they have demos, and it's like that's not their album. I'm still confused because like Isaiah Rashad, Sylvia Demo is my favorite album of his, but that's
Yeah,
not an album. The House or the Sons Triad is his first album, and it's like, well, Sylvia Demo, all that was original material. I don't
right,
get it, but that's what the new kids is doing. So,
right. Yo, it's funny that you mentioned it. Isaiah Rashad was at the tip of my tongue when I was messaging, and maybe I might even put some comments on that Tiny Desk video that I sent you, Mike Jenkins,
oh,
because there's few brothers that not only are kind of taking it back to, I don't want to say Afrocentric, because that's a whole
mm,
genre in itself, but again, back to where and obviously every rapper is confident, but more to where again, the blacker the berry, right? Kind of
yeah,
sentiments. And again, Toby, Mike Jenkins, K Dot for sure.
yeah.
I think Isaiah Rashad's kind of on there as well because he comes from a humble heart. You know what I'm saying? That again, just kind of led way to the bottle.
I would
Like,
throw Royce 5'9" in there too, because Royce 5'9" is someone who, for the longest time, was just rapping about his dick, and then he actually started rapping about some stuff, and like he's on some super pro black stuff. He had just got into it with 50. He got mad at 50 because 50 was making jokes on IG, and he made fun of Lil Kim, and then he made fun of Madonna, and then Madonna said something back, and so
or
even
the
though 50,
apology and shit, or the fake
yeah,
apology, what you
and
call it.
50 did the little fake apology, but even with it being fake or whatever, like Royce was like, hey man, you got to think about the optics of that. Like you made fun of a black woman, you made fun of a white woman, but then you did make sure to address, the white woman when things went south. Like, but you didn't care about what you did to that black woman's image. Like, I appreciate Royce stepping up and saying something or whatever to 50. Because again, 50, whether you want to believe the street cred stuff or not, 50 is still like 6'5", 245 pounds. He'd be a heavyweight in the UFC if he actually took that serious. So that's a
Yeah.
big dude. I'm just saying that.
Mhm.
I'm just
And
saying that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Fucking A. Yeah, you ain't gonna step to fifth.
No,
And and,
no.
and, and it is crazy that to think again, looking back at how many years, where we are now, right? And I think I made reference to that meme about motherfuckers talking about the 90s now, or the same motherfuckers in the 90s talking about how remember the 60s, right? Or looking back, it's that same time frame. And to think, because of keeping relevance, he is technically an OG in the game, would you
Yeah.
say? I mean, because it
Yeah.
was early 2000s.
Yeah, 19 years in, because Get Rich or Die Trying, that came out in '02. I
And then
remember
and
specifically. Yeah.
and he was being shopped around in '99 when it was there's some kind of Sony deal that went sour, and that's when he got
I,
dropped after getting shot. Like,
I
so
remember How to Rob being a big deal when I was in high
there you
school.
go,
That
how
was
to
a
rob.
big deal when that came out.
See,
So
mm, it's crazy, man. Fucking the times,
it's
man. The
crazy.
motherfucking
It's
times.
crazy.
So going back to fucking uh to the Kardashian thing though. Obviously, as a feminist, you know what I'm saying? We understand that it's not fair. And wasn't it right after the divorce, his links to some kind of model had popped up, right?
So, yeah, that was the whole thing too. Let me
Is it the
load
same
that
bitch?
up.
Or is it someone else?
So I think it's the same chick. And so yeah, so getting back to that, so yeah, Kim was like, yeah, you keep saying you want me back or whatever, but you live like with your girlfriend. Like, what's that about? And it's hilarious because literally within 24 hours of her saying that, Kanye broke up with his model Venteria or whatever, however you say her name is. So apparently, yeah, the two aren't dating anymore after being in a relationship for a few months. Ye stopped following her on Instagram, though she follows him. Yeah, it was in early November. It was reported that Ye had been hooking up with her, and the two were spotted courtside at Donda Academy's debut basketball game, and she attended his Sunday service in Los Angeles or whatnot. So apparently, yeah, they were talking for a little bit of time, if you will. But again, like I don't know, the whole thing is weird, and I'd still go back to the Drink Champs episode when Kanye, or yeah, when Kanye had said that his relationship, his marriage or whatever, got a little rocky when essentially his that publicist for the show like got involved in the show or whatnot. And he was like, yeah, he was like, they were trying to figure out the new angle for the next season of the Kardashians or whatever. And he was like, it messed up my marriage. And so I don't know. It's kind of odd. So
Well, again, and one of the things that I guess we couldn't even, pontificate is that they have down the whole world watching, but now everybody knows your business. We know that he isn't following such and such, but she's following him, and that becomes a marker of status because again, it's official. Just kind of
yeah,
like how when a girl goes through a breakup or divorce and she like cuts half of her pictures, you know what I'm saying, from whatchamacallit, starting fresh, new
yeah,
year, people shit, and it's supposed to reflect the fact that hey, this is whatever next point, next stage, next whatever. And the fact that we know this, like again, Chris Rock had talked about on Tambourine, he goes, not only do I know what you ate today, but I know what three other motherfuckers thought about it. Like we know way more shit
no
than
way
we
too
would
much.
have back in the day.
We know way too much, and that is the thing when it comes to this whole world that we live in. We live in a world today where we are not supposed to know that there's 7 billion people on this earth. We were not supposed to know that freaking all the stuff that's going, like we weren't supposed to know all of this. And it's actually funny too, and it's ain't on a clip here or anything like that, but I had saw some, and keep it with the thing from working from home, I had saw some recently that I found absolutely hilarious, and it was talking about it was like, I think it was on TikTok, and they were like, hey, do any of you guys feel like since this pandemic hit, you guys have been suffering from ADHD? And they were like, if you have experienced that, it's not in your head. People are developing ADHD now because how the world has changed and how we're all trapped inside of our houses or whatever. And that is something that I know, like my ADHD has gotten a lot worse or whatever. I'm popping more alpha brains than I used to or whatever, try to stay focused. And I know a lot of that is because I'm working from home and I'm sitting here and I'm working and I'm doing this or whatever. And I got ESPN up over here and I got my phone. And so I'm not as self conscious, when I'm at work or whatever, we'll keep the phone in my pocket. I don't want anybody to think I'm on my phone. But you're sitting here and you're chatting with somebody at work about something. You're like, okay, let me wait for them to respond back. Let me mess around with TikTok. Let me mess around with that or whatever. And we're developing ADHD in this new world that we in because of just how the world has completely changed. And I don't know. And that again is the reason why TikTok is so great, because TikTok, you get a 30-second to 3-minute video. And I feel bad because there are times when like a video will come up, it'll be like a real good video. And I'm like, man, this is like 3 minutes. I don't feel like watching, man. Give me one of them 30-second ones. Hold on. Give me 30. And
Oh, I
literally, I'm
love
I'm on TikTok for like an hour scrolling. So like, what is 3 minutes? It's like I'm gonna get that 3 minutes out, but it's like, man, this video, like the synapses
not
ain't
right
firing.
now.
So
Not in my city. Not right now.
my God,
Yo,
my God.
No, and I think that's also kind of what adds to and this is what happened the first time around when I was working from home. I got stir crazy, bro. Like I got stir crazy. I had nothing but the kids around me. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty much speaking the most simplified English I could possibly speak. And then my only interactions were my customers, which obviously you don't want to let yourself, you don't want to show your cards too much in that motherfucker. And then I told you I got a little bit too easy breezy with my supervisor. I made an Indian joke because we're talking about Adam Sandler movies. Bitch says, "Oh motherfucker, I'm Native American." Yo, and and dude, it hit me at a point where obviously this bitch had a trigger against me because okay, it was a racial slur. Goddamn it, I wouldn't get so upset you made a wetback joke. You know what I'm saying? It better be hilarious, you know? And there was once where again I was really phoning it in, and this woman asked me, it you seem like your heart's not into it, right? Like as if your fucking heart's gonna be into customer service. Fuck you. And then I told her, it's really not. And she's like, okay, so is this your resignation? And like this bitch was like, you know what? Like pride got me. When pride gets and you can't back down even though I didn't
Yeah.
say it, and I know she just fucking trapped me in a hole. I'm like, bitch, just gonna work because my son was just about to be born. So at the time, I
Yeah.
didn't give a shit. I'm like, you know what? I needed the goddamn time. Y'all motherfuckers won't give me the what is it called when you have
The unemployment or
no.
no, no,
When
no.
you're about to give birth and you have
Oh, paternity leave.
paternity leave. I didn't
Yeah.
qualify for it. So I was like, bet. Yeah. And not knowing
I'm out.
motherfucker, I'm out this bitch. I didn't even give a shit that I just fucked myself over and can't get unemployment because I technically resigned.
Because you left. Yep.
I'm gonna lie and say that you fired me, bitch. This is a coercion and whatever. Bro, God is good. I ended up getting a job within 2 weeks and shit. So like it didn't even fucking matter. Literally, it was just
Yeah.
one of those both steps to where I got lucky. That would have been a very cocky fucking move, because to go into to quit not having a backup plan. I don't give a fuck, bro.
Yo, I know.
And
And that's
crazy.
the thing, because I used to be very big on that in my early 20s. I just quit a job and be like, yeah, I'll figure I'll rent some other time or whatever. And luckily, again, knock on wood, hopefully it stay the way things are. I'm in a good, work situation now. Like again, I'm still that's adding to my ADHD how flipping busy I am at work, if you will. But still it's always about perspective. It's always about how you look at things. So I could be sitting here losing my mind about how busy I am at work and how like I don't think I've taken a break or a lunch in the 2 years I've been working from home because it's just so damn busy, if you will. But
You never
on
gonna
the
forget to take
flips,
me breaking lunch.
what's up?
I ain't never gonna forget to take my breaking lunch. Goddamn it! You on salary though? I understand.
So,
I'm
and
on.
that's the thing.
I'm on
I'm
that humble
I'm
hourly tip.
I'm salary, I'm on the leadership side. People depend on me. And so like it's always one of those things too, or whatever. It's maddening because like I'll have a busy day where it's like back-to-back meetings. And so it's like, okay, I'm on, in meetings for 3 hours. And then I get done with my meetings. I look at my email, I look at my chat room, wherever, and all that. It's like, oh my God, like the department is on fire. Like literally. And again, like being in leadership is like being a parent. It's like I turn my head for 3 hours and half the company is on fire. Like, come on, y'all. Like, can we get it together? So, yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
time. It's a
and
good
then
time.
for it to be a simple suggestion of how to fix shit, I'm like, oh, I would have never
No,
really
the
like that.
the absolute worst thing is when someone asks you like what to do, and like it's like literally we've had this conversation before. Like it's over a dozen of y'all that report to me. It's a damn shame that I can remember what I told you and you can't remember the thing. Like literally it was something that came up earlier today, and somebody was like, oh yeah, I'm looking for the blah blah blah, spreadsheet or whatnot. And it's a spreadsheet I created for them. They manage it, but I created it for them. I gave them, because I do a lot of stuff in Google or whatever, and I gave them the Google sheet, and they hit me up as, oh, hey, what's the name of that sheet? I'm looking for it. I can't find it or whatever. And I like sent the link, and it's like, how do I have this bookmark? Like this is yours. Like why am I the organized one? But it is what it is, man. And no two people are the same, and that's the last thing too with leadership that I don't know. I'm trying to, I guess you could say, in society and in this world and in this universe and in this lifetime or whatever, I'm figuring out cosmically where I fit in. And that is one of the things that 2021 has shown me is that regardless of how much of an introvert I want to be and I want to be in a corner and left alone or wherever, like what the universe is calling and trying to get out of me right now is leadership. And so that's like I'm the leadership at work or whatever. And then with the boys basketball, wherever I'm the assistant coach on 4 different teams. And so that's 50 different little kids or wherever and all that. Like it's leadership all day, every day of like being the daddy. And it's just like
Bro, I can hear the hymns right now. Fucking just come on, black man, get a black man, do it, black
got me.
man, get a black man. Show the
Took
people,
it up.
lead the way, be our
Lead
Moses.
lead the way, but it's like I'm just tired. I just want to relax. Like, can somebody lead me for a second? Like, why I gotta do all the leading? But hey, it's my cosmic duty or whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
That's what I kind of
But
feel. like a lot about the show, and I know that it's us talking shit, me talking more shit specifically, but it's to push certain thought because I think that people just aren't
Yes.
thinking because again we are so easily led, and we are so we're practical, we're partial to um what's the word, to influence, you know what I'm saying, like, or inspiration, whatever the case may be. Is like, I don't know, and it's not all good. Again, reality TV really fucks us, and the shit that it teaches us, the thing that it kind of it gives us a certain standard because all of a sudden we're seeing where the bar is being held, supposedly, right? This
Yes.
invisible fucking bar, this keeping up with the Joneses, especially the Kardashians. That's exactly what the name of the show was, keeping up with the Kardashians. They staked themselves as being this, this trendsetter, this fucking, thing. So our shit, I feel, is to hopefully stir up, you know what I'm saying, in someone's soul. Because someone can look at you,
Stir up
bro,
thought. Exactly.
and just be a racist fuck and just hate you automatically. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo,
I'm gonna look at you and hate because goddamn it, I wish I could have a fro. That's why I don't
I
like
mean,
my older stepson. I think I got the curliest of curls, and I
I
be
mean, wish
hating.
you had these blocks. I'm banging on these hoes. But no, and it's funny though that you
Oh, you
mentioned
can
that.
tell it.
It's funny that you mentioned that, and shouts out to one of your former dedications, Jeffrey Marsh. So Jeffrey Marsh is a non-binary. I don't even know like what
I didn't
their
have too many
official.
then.
Yeah, yeah, but I
Literally.
can't remember why you brought Jeffrey Marsh up. I forgot the whole thing or whatever. But I
It was my
follow.
boo, James Charles.
Oh, freaking James Charles. I know. And real quick joke on that because I had mentioned how I had added Jeffree Star once and that was absolute worst dedication. No, I think James Charles got that beat. James Charles is horrible, but
He's canceled technically. I don't know why I
cancel,
forgot about it,
cancel.
but
But no, Jeffrey March. So you had mentioned that or whatever about bringing enlightenment, and you'll have someone who maybe racist can't stand black people, and then they listen and be like, oh hey, I really like that guy, or just don't like minorities in general. Like hey, that black and Mexican guy, those guys are pretty cool. They're a okay with me. And Jeffrey
groovy.
Marsh. I love what Jeffrey Marsh has a like a video series that they're doing on IG where Jeffrey Marsh is just like having these intimate conversations with the camera or whatnot. And like one of is like it's very like positive and like even like one of them or whatever, like it got me emotional because like Jeffrey Marsh was like, yeah, there's so much like on the Instagram and on social media or whatever, and people are trying to be this or they're trying to be that, and they were like, how about we just be ourselves and just relax for a moment. And it was like, let's not try to be funny, let's not try to entertain, let's not try to be something that we're not, just have a 10-second moment of us together and just silence and just breathe and just peace. And it was thought provoking. I was like, man, I was like, that really hit me in the soul. But you had mentioned about the conservative or whatever, and there was one where Jeffrey Marsh had this post on there where it was like a conservative had left a comment. It was like, oh my god, I'm a Republican conservative or whatever, and I'm supposed to hate people like you, but like, oh my god, like I really like all the stuff that you do, and like it's so positive. And then that's what Jeffrey Marsh had said, like, yeah, let's stop the division and let's actually listen to one another, because yes, this person may not be of the same political background or the same religious belief or the same class that you're in or whatnot, but everyone has these life experiences where if we would just share with one another, we would learn how close we are with one another and also just learn from one another. So, message,
Yeah, yeah. And
message,
again,
message.
and I think and it does that. I think whether we even hope to get our message across or not, because again, we can't. What is that saying about something falling on deaf ears? Like
Yes.
regardless of how they're gonna and take things as they're gonna have a reaction. And I think if you believe in Buddhism, I forgot what the main teaching on one of it was about. And I heard some big titty bitch tell his brother this. So again, it was more in a sexual connotation, but ultimately all we can do are guide each other to what we love, right?
Yes.
And even on the Astro Crowley shit on "Do What Thy Will," like
Mm.
again, in hopes that we're doing in the ultimate balance of love, like shit, I don't know. Again, it's going to breed something. You know what I'm saying?
I know
Fuckies leads to something.
you just reminded me. I don't know why I show shoes every single episode now or whatever, but I worked on
You
these
flex,
custom. I got a flex on them. No, and you had
flex.
mentioned. You said do what thou wilt, and that just kind of, open up a little crevice in the brain or whatever. So I'm still new at it or whatever, but one of my new pastimes I'm trying to figure out how to do or whatever is custom make shoes. And so I've been working, I'll get these all whites like this. And
Oh,
so
nice.
so I got these little Levi joints or whatever, and I painted the know thyself on this side. I got the Dharma on this side, got it. I got the do what thou wilt on this side. I got the karma on this side. Those are some of my motifs that I live by, if you will. And yeah, but again, like the paint kind of fell off of that one. I don't know what
Yeah,
coating you're supposed to put on the shoe afterwards to make the shit stick. I don't know that. I'm
nothing.
still new at this, so I don't
Yo,
know.
it's cool because I have like two pairs of and they're Chucks. They're both Converses, and there's just something about that white lip that I usually get the bottom because I got different color joints, right? My favorite one's the brown, man. I know people give Obama a lot of shit for that
Oh.
tan suit, but there's that color though. There ain't no more earth tone than that, right? And anyways, my favorite pair of Chucks are like that, and same thing. But I have my little I forget what I have on there, but definitely things that I hope to in essence of walking with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You hope that if the Lord is in us, then we can we got to keep ourselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? Walk where we're going, watch where we're going. Again, reminder, that little daily message, little nuggets.
Message. And we're gonna get into some other deep stuff in a moment too. But another
Because I didn't get
little,
the message. Who
a,
knows? There's some call and response on that shit, right?
yeah, I mean, a little message or a little, someone do what thou wilt, know thyself that knows their place in the universe or whatever. Your boy Jay-Z is hearing the murmurs. He's
Right.
hearing the murmurs. Future had flexed and said that in these streets, I'm bigger than Jigga. 100 million's not the goal no more. Rick Ross recently said that Jay-Z versus battle, that's a possibility. But Jay-Z went on Twitter and got on Alicia Keys' Twitter space and essentially let y'all brothers know what it was when it is what it is. And I'm gonna play this little clip because Jay-Z hear y'all niggas talking and he wants to let y'all know something real quick.
He never does this.
We stand on that stage with me. I ain't gonna lie, no disrespect. Everyone's amazing and done what they done. No one can stand on that stage with me. I'm just telling you guys the real.
I
Like,
feel you.
it's
I
not a
feel you.
shot. There's not a chance in hell that anyone can stand on that stage with me for I don't know how long it is. 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours.
Right.
Look, And
Hey.
you got to stand in front of the Grammy family freestyle live.
No,
No
we
one's ever
know.
even seen me perform that. Like, you got to stand in front of that. That ain't gonna never happen, man. Let's move on from Verzuz and let's get back to the this Keys album.
But first,
Talk that talk. I wish I had an air horn right now. Jay-Z, let them know. Let them know. 2 hours. Y'all trying to get someone on stage against me for 2 hours. I ain't even talking about the hits. What y'all gonna do when I hit y'all with these freestyles? When I hit you with this Grammy family? When I hit you with this Excuse Me Miss, the La La remix? When I hit you with that Pump It Up remix? Like, what is y'all? I ain't even talking about hits right now. Yo, y'all better stop playing with Jay-Z.
I mean,
Playing.
album content. I will, because then you maybe want to bring up Nas. You want to bring up
So
Nas, and Jay Z gets so much love for his wordplay. But bro,
yeah.
going back to Streets Disciple or not Streets Disciple, the one
No,
that kind of looked like
Stillmatic.
no man, it was the Sam Remy joint, the double album, the one that I told you about that had the tracks,
Street.
Making of a Perfect Bitch,
That
and
was all makers of a
bro,
perfect bitch. Yeah, Streets
his
Disciple.
wordplay,
Oh, I
bro.
gotta turn that album back on. Go ahead.
Mind
Oh,
you, okay. So I love Slam Remy. I love the work that he's done with my baby girl Amy. I love that he worked with mother girl
shouts out to Amy.
Cat Dahlia. He's one of my favorite producers. Like honestly, he's in my top 5 up there. Like just off tops, And I don't want to bring up the other ones that even though it makes me want to talk about it. But beats get dated in hip hop for the most
Yes.
part. You can't tell me Big Pimpin' don't sound a little,
No,
but
it's
the
dated.
fact that it's a hit, right? So, but again,
Yeah.
times, right? And so that album, unfortunately, this is the major shit that people talk about Nas and him not picking beats. It ain't that. It's just that he's of that moment and it passes. But bro, when he was talking about having this big bone but bitch named Vanessa over the fold out couch and shoved into the dresser, like the shit that he would say, bro, it just to me was
So
unmatched.
So I had actually, it's funny that you say that because I had just
I
had a
know that's
conversation on IG about this, and I don't disagree at all with you or whatnot.
and that's not the
Now,
argument. I know.
of
I don't
course,
even know why I'm bringing it up. Like it's just
yeah.
again, if there was 2 hours of that, I mean, god damn it, it'd
So
be a good star.
So the thing with Versus too, because again, like, so I'm saying all this about can't nobody see Jay Z, but also it just depends on how serious Jay Z, is. Because again, like my favorite Versus was the Lots versus Dipset. And like going into that battle, even though I'm Team Lots because I'm Rough Riders till I die,
Right.
there was a lot of people that was like, yo, Dipset is about to wash them, but the lot showed up prepared, and that's what beat them. So anybody who's not prepared, they're gonna get washed up there. But if Jay-Z shows up prepared, the reason why I don't think anybody can beat him, and again, like I use Jay-Z as the greatest rapper of all time in the same way that I say Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of time. Steph Curry is a better shooter than Michael Jordan. Dennis Rodman is a better rebounder than Jordan. Scottie Pippen was a better defender than Jordan. There's a lot of people that did these individual things better than Jordan. But when it came to the whole package, so many of them meters were up so
Right.
high. That's the reason why he's the best. And so that's the same thing with Jay Z. Jay Z's not the greatest rapper of all time. Big Pun is one of the greatest. Little did he know, little do diddly. Yo,
Little
I can't even
Italy.
say that, but oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah.
But again, like Pun, much
Yo,
greater
ooh,
rapper.
really,
Oh, go ahead.
going back to things you're good at and not good at. One of the favorite tracks on this album, it had Dead Prez on it, or not even Dead Prez. I forget the names. I'm sorry, but one of them was
Yeah.
the producer. He made a track. It sounded like it was raining, and he had Big Pun singing on it. And he goes, "I don't even sing, but I'm gonna." And mind you, he's not the best crooner, but
Yes.
goddamn, if it didn't touch some sentiment. So again, yeah,
Yes.
you're right. That wasn't
So
his
yeah.
lane, but
So
you know what I'm saying. But
So Big Pun's better rapper than Jay Z when it comes to the ability of rapping. Nas better wordplay when it comes to painting these, pictures. Like again, like Nas on Swizz Beats last album, Echo. He's rapping or whatever about living in the projects or whatever, and he flashes back to Judy Ass was enormous, and like just the pictures that he paint. And actually, the greatest example, and this was the first Nas album I ever bought, was I Am, and the first song on there, New York State of Mind Part 2. That first verse, I think, is what made me want to live in New York, because he broken glass in the hallways, bloodstained floors, neighbors look through every bag you bring through your doors, lock the top lock. Mama should have cuffed me to the radiator. Why not? It might have saved me later from my block. And why cops? Like just the visuals of like just everything. Like I just felt like I was in New York listening to Nas. So I say all that to say that yes, there's other people that check certain boxes better than Jay, but when it comes to checking all of them, I think the only people who could probably go up against Jay Z in a versus, I could see Lil Wayne, even though I don't think Lil Wayne wins. I could see Snoop Dogg, even though I don't think Snoop Dogg wins, and I could see Kanye West, though I don't see
for
Kanye
sure.
West winning. But
Based
I
on credential, based on time in the
and
game, based on consistent albums. Again,
yeah,
if it's a matter of time filling, again, Snoop, bro, he's probably been the most consistent rapper out of
forever.
out of the whole thing, right? Since
Yeah,
'92, he's had joints at least once a year, if not every two, right? But consistently, no fucking breaks. Motherfucker will hit you with a gospel, a reggae, a fucking dancehall
do
album.
everything.
You know what I'm saying? So again, there's consistency. So again, he would have enough time to fill in the slots, but again, is because but again, going towards the Jay Z thing, if it's a matter of hits, mind you, you got at least one every 12 albums. That ain't gonna fill in 2 hours.
Yeah.
or
And
whatever,
so
which I know is the time of reference, but
yeah, and so that's why, like with Jay would be able to do the hit singles, he would be able to do the B-sides, he would be able to do all the freestyles. And I actually, as I was saying this, no, I think his biggest competition would be Kanye West. And the reason why it would be Kanye West, because even outside of what Kanye does himself, Kanye has so many features and beats that he did for other people. And the other thing, if Kanye did verses that he could really get in his bag and really like shake some shit up, like we all know that Kanye started off as a ghost beat producer. He was working with Jermaine Dupri on that 1472 album. Like Kanye could break out some of those records like, "Oh, you didn't know I did this beat." And like he could blow the arena up. So
true.
even though they're not in the same, like, I don't know, it's still weird because Jay-Z just feels like the generation before Kanye. That's
Definitely,
probably the versus battle I would
definitely.
want to see is Jay-Z versus Kanye. Because again, it would be a celebration. And then also it's that big brother, little brother. So like Kanye is going to really show up and try to go at Jay because you want to show that, the student has surpassed the teacher. And then Jay ain't going to take that lightly. He's going to be like, no, I need to make sure I son this kid and let him know where he's at in the spectrum of everything. So
Speaking of generations, one thing that's for sure, the only people that I think that are still like, 'cause I literally can't think outside of Nas and Jay-Z. I can't think of anyone else outside of groups, people in the Wu-Tang or something, that have been relevant then and now, unless maybe they're on the
yes,
West Coast. But then when you think that, I'm thinking Dog Pound, and they're really nowhere near that level.
no,
So it's like, again, it really would have to be like a Snoop ass, because again, same time frame. Who else came
yeah.
up in the early 90s? And not many of them are still doing shit.
Yeah, and that's the reason why. So, like, I always the goat conversation. Of course, it's always it's nostalgia. It's whoever you grew up listening to or whatever. But my personal opinion, and all these guys aren't in my top 20, but my personal opinion of the three greatest rappers of all time, because I think they check so many of the boxes, and in no particular order, is Jay Z, Snoop Dogg, and LL Cool J. Those are the three greatest rappers of all time because each one of them spent multiple decades consistently putting out music. You have LL who had hits in the 80s, hits in the 90s, hits in the 2000s. You got Jay-Z that
It
came out
literally ended
96.
though, like, pre 05, bro. Like whenever him and
Yeah.
J Lo were doing something, and she was still
Yes. And so that's the only reason why I think LL wouldn't be able to go up against Jay-Z because LL would have to dig too much into his 80s bag. And I think that sound is so much different. Like it's gonna be
right.
like, oh, you get this old
Simple.
nigga off stage. Like, come on,
Right. I
like,
mean,
come on.
shout out to
Rock the
Jay giving
bells. Mama said knock you
knock
out.
you out.
Oh,
Yo,
mama said knock you.
but shout out to Jay giving LL Cool J a shout out under his when he got inducted into the
Yes.
Rock and Roll Hall of
Rock and
Fame.
roll.
Like I think that shit was dope. So again, but he wasn't in the later 2000s. So unfortunately, because Jay kept chugging along with the shit. What are his last three albums? I can only remember 444. What came before 444?
So
Carter 3, 2010.
444 no, was before 444 should have been Magna Carta Holy Grail, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then before that was the Blueprint 3.
Blueprint 3. I
Okay,
believe those were the last
so
ones.
those were his. So he only had three records in that 10-year span, which again, well deserved because of his status and whatnot. But I don't think honestly, LO has made anything since fucking what was that shark movie he was in? Fucking
I forgot the name of it.
something the shark fin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think he's done anything since that. And that was remember when fucking rappers that were in movies had hit song title tie-ins, and I think was mind you, he'd never be considered, but Will Smith, man, he was the king of that. Because I remember
Yes.
Wild Wild West, bro, when he busted out fucking Drew Hill, like that was a kind of almost digging in the crates, even though it was only
Yeah.
maybe a 5-year span or whatever. But
Oh, and you were right. It's 2008 was the last LL Cool J album. Exit 13. I
oh
don't
shit,
know.
that was 2008. Yeah,
He
that's when he started getting
had
50 features. I think 50 was on that album. And
yes,
he tried
50's on here. The Dream he had a song with The Dream.
shit. He was hit at the time. I mean, honestly,
Ryan Leslie.
he was one of
I
the
don't
best.
know.
He Ryan Leslie.
I don't know
He
none of these
is one of
songs.
my favorite R&B producers. He's
Yeah.
done things for shit. Remember what was P Diddy's bitch? The one with half her head shaved. It's me,
Oh, Casey.
Casey. He
Yeah.
really like he made some of the strongest production joints on her album, even though she can't sing and we weren't using autotune properly at that time.
Dun,
And
dun,
he,
dun, 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 dun. I just know that was the melody. Dun, 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 dun. Like
some of his
she
best
was
stuff was
singing real low, so she didn't have to hit them high notes, and we could tell that the bitch couldn't sing. But yeah, go
shout
ahead.
out to my Jane Aiku because not to talk too much shit, she could sing. Her sister could sing.
I didn't know she had a sister.
She had her sister had this song called "So High," or maybe that might have been a Doja Cat song. She was kind of on the new wavy R&B stuff that was kind of kicking in. Of I can't even. Man, there's so many subgenres that don't even have labels yet, bro.
Yeah,
But anyway, she was amongst them, and I guess they're related to, or they grew up with Corrupt. Remember, Corrupt always had a bunch of features on her songs, and
yeah.
that's that. Though. I mean, she's West Coast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. West, y'all.
Yeah.
No, and speaking of genres too, we might as well get into a little bit of gnosis, get into the psyche.
Yo,
Uh
we didn't talk about the wasn't there other beefs and shit, or did it end at that? Uh, when that
oh, there
beef,
was no, there was one other thing, and actually I don't
yeah.
have much on it. The dude that passed away, I forgot. Drakeo.
Oh, Draco, yeah,
So
I don't know.
yeah.
We
All
should.
I got is rest in peace. He did get stabbed at like a Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent had a concert, and
Oh,
apparently Draco got stabbed in the
oh,
neck.
is that the
And
one where Snoop Dogg had apparently dipped out while he was on stage or something when that shit was happening?
so from what I heard, I don't know who was performing, but dude got stabbed, and then like they end up like shutting the whole venue down. So like 50 and like Snoop, I don't even think they ever even got a chance to go out on stage or perform.
Oh,
And so yeah, there is some drama going on. I unfortunately, God rest the, dead or whatever. I looked dude up because like when Young Dolph, rest in peace to Young Dolph, when he passed away or whatever, I knew like a couple Young Dolph records. I don't know them like that or whatever, but I had heard some of his stuff. Draco, I hadn't heard any of his stuff. And
yo,
so yeah, I feel bad, but
I
yeah.
get so shocked when I hear the announcements, whatever, and I guess again there must be some relevancy because if I hear it from fucking BBC, then it must be something. But like I'll really trip out when I fucking hear I don't know, little Dirky Dirk got fucking cappity capped and fucking whatchamacallit Hills, and I'm like, holy shit, like were they somebody that they had that kind of thing, or is it just a slow news day where we wanted 30 seconds to
No,
film?
and that's the thing because I
Not to
always
disrespect the death, but
Of course, yeah. And I always gauge it off of the Twitter reaction. And so, like, that's how I found out was through people on Twitter, like, oh man, not Draco. Oh man, this is sad. Oh, brace my heart or whatever. And I was like, I don't know who this dude is. And I was like, let me throw him in the YouTube music, see if I've heard it. I was like, I ain't never heard of any of this guy's stuff. So again, yeah, God bless the dead. Hopefully they find whoever did it because that's tough situation.
it
And
seems
that's
relevant now, or don't it not relevant, but it seems more not prominent. It's
I
happening a lot, goddamn it.
It I don't know. It's one of those things where there's two sides of it. There's one, of course, you have hip hop, of course, is cats from the streets. We grew up in the hood or whatever. You get into the game, you bring some of them hood people with you. You bring some of those ideologies, some of those ways of living. You bring it into this
Gotta
world.
bring this
There's all
energy
this
and shit.
money. You bring that energy, some bad shit happen. Now, on the flip side of it, if you want to get into them Illuminati boys rumors or whatever, there are people who wonder if there is some like uptick in like sacrifices of hip hop artists because it does seem like there's like again like growing up or whatever, you had a lot of real dudes in the game or dudes in the game that was really about that life or whatever. But like when Biggie and Pac passed, it was like dang, like we need to chill out or whatever, so on and so forth. But like it's a lot going on over the past like 5 to 7 years. So I don't know what is going on. And some of these guys is like really in these streets, and some of these guys just again, and that's one of the things where again, absolutely born and raised on the south side, South Phoenix until I die. I got the Phoenix tattooed on the back of my arms or whatever. I'm Phoenix to the death. When I turned 18, I got the fuck out of the hood and I never looked back. Like I had to get away from that. Like I know too many people who's doing football numbers in jail. I know people who got shot and in wheelchairs. I know motherfuckers that didn't died and then all kinds of like I got away from that, bruh. Like I got away from it. So I don't know.
It's so funny. Funny, not so funny because again, that's real shit. They're literally why motherfuckers pack up and take their mama somewhere else, right? That's why the
Yeah.
first thing you do is get your mama out the hood, right? And weird call out to movie Mean Girls. They're and I think Tim Meadows is his name. Very slept on, brother. Like he so funny. He played the principal in that movie. Do you remember that? Did you ever watch Mean Girls? It was a Lindsay
No,
Lohan joint.
I know of it. I don't think I've ever seen it, but
It
yeah.
it technically is it's a classic for that genre, right?
Yeah.
And not Rose McGowan, Rachel McAdams had her fucking debut on that shit,
Yes.
looking hella, you know what I'm saying, before she became a thickums and everything. Um, anyways, getting mesmerized in the wetness. Wait, I'm still there. Oh shit, Tim Meadows. This motherfucker was because all these bitches went crazy, right? They not to spoil the story, but a bunch of secrets got out, everybody's gossip got out, everyone started acting like animals. And like literally it looked like they were fucking rioting the place. And fucking Tim Meadows was like, oh, he was like, oh hell no, I didn't leave the south side for this. And he fucking pops open the goddamn fire alarm so the sprinklers can calm everybody the fuck down. And I don't know, that shit reminded me of that so fucking much, but it's for real. Like I think of it. I think I seen a TikTok where it said finding a $500 apartment with all utilities included, and motherfucker was sitting on the porch snacking on something, and all you can hear is the fucking gun pop, 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 pops. Fucking you see little fucking babies walking around with no shoes, and like that's what you get for $500 a fucking month. Pay utilities, goddamn it. I dare you to find a place like that nowadays. But
Exactly.
again, that's just are you willing to fucking see some homeless people fuck?
Yeah, no, and that's the whole thing. Because at the end of the day, if you want to change the energy in your life, you have to change the energy that is around you.
I remember when tried dabbling in the college tip. I remember doing some little community college in Scottsdale, thinking, okay, I ain't gonna see nobody from here. And I seen this one ratchet bitch. I'm like, oh, you found me. I'm like, no, bitch, it wasn't looking like, you know what
I
I'm saying?
promise you, I wasn't looking. I stumbled across you. I
We
promise
both hide it. We both hide from the south side right now.
you.
TikTok,
Oh.
what's that joint you was gonna show?
Oh yeah. So but no, yeah. So speaking about genres or whatnot and getting into the psyche or whatever, shouts out to this TikToker at the anxious influencer who put together this little clip of what your favorite type of comfort TV show says about you.
Nobody asked for this, but this is what I think your choice of comfort TV show says about you. If it's adult animation, you're so nostalgic for your childhood that you gravitate to cartoons, and you know that the people that make them understand your particular combination of depression and hopelessness and dark sense of humor. If it's true crime, then not only is your life so safely comfortable that you find harmless adrenaline in true crime, your anxiety is also oddly calmed by being made aware of what's out there. If it's any kind of sci-fi or fantasy, you experienced such a specific form of bullying in school that your imagination literally took you off planet, and now your adult interests can't help but reflect that. If it's reality TV, you either miss being popular in high school or you were on the cusp of being included by the popular kids and you're slightly bitter about it never happening, and now you just like to watch hot people scream at each other on TV and get roasted online. And if it's sitcoms, the world has broken you so badly that you need conflict resolution in 22 minutes or less, and that disassociation is even more satisfying if the show has at least one cast member that was previously working at 30.
Oh my god. It says so much about me because my favorite show of all time is BoJack Horseman, which is an animated melodrama, which me and that horse have way too much in common. And then also, I absolutely love myself a situational comedy, and I didn't even realize the psyche behind that I'm
The
so
conflict
broken.
resolution.
I need conflict resolution. Like, I need to know within 22 minutes, like everything's gonna be okay. Like I need to know. Like, yeah, didn't know that.
I would say I'm amongst the same tip because I can't think of what cartoon I like, right? But if I were to go to a cartoon, it's gonna be like something like South Park or Bob's Burgers, where again, the adult humor of fuck life, but this is what it is. And then yeah, I think I was stuck in 30 Rock or some of the Tina Fey joints because again, it's one of those hit me with all the funny, take away all my pain right now, you know,
Yep.
shit that's in the background. My thing wasn't on there exactly, but I feel like I was a little bit of all that, just a little bit of all that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I felt personally attacked by every one of those suggestions and
My
accusations.
my favorite one, and I had saw another TikTok or another study or something on it, was the one about true crime and how essentially that's kind of these suburban people who just live this very safe life, and that's the reason why they need that adrenaline pumping watching this dangerous stuff. And it's one of those things where it's interesting, and again, different state of black. You know, I gotta hit y'all with a little bit of blackety blackness, if you will. It's one of those things where I had saw this article or some study or whatever, and someone made a real good point. They're like, when there's a black crime, if you will, it's portrayed by the media and by American society as dangerous and as a thug and this, that, and the third. But then we romanticize white crimes and all that. And that's the reason why you have these CSI shows wherever that people enjoy. That's the reason why the serial killer podcast that people love these podcasts about, and Eric found the knife and hit the bodies and ran across 22 states, and like these people, these housewives eat this stuff up, and it's because we romanticize white crime. That is just the society that we live in. And yeah, and so like that one
White
resonated
crime
with me.
specifically?
Yeah, white crime specifically. So, and that's the thing too, where I can't, and again, God bless the dead, but the girl that came up missing, that was the whole story for like a good 2 months or whatever, where there was whatever that white girl was that came
Oh
up
yeah, yeah,
missing.
yeah.
And they were hunting the guy down, and then they found pictures over here and found pictures over there. And then again, not to, make it too much about race, but like a lot of, black and brown and indigenous people were ever getting upset. It's like, dang, our people are missing all the time. And like, there's never like all these posts and stuff about it. But the second a
I
white girl
know.
come up missing, it's like, oh my God, run it on the 12 o'clock news. We need to find her. And it's just like, again, it's in that again. And I talked about it way in effluence the last episode. But again, we are America's a society built on white supremacy. And there's a reason why it's like that, where black and brown people come up missing and no one cares, and LGBT people come up missing and dead and no one cares. But oh my God, don't let something happen to one of these heterosexual Caucasians. We need to stop the entire world, and we need to help these people. And yeah, and then again, the same thing with Charles Manson. Like, so many people have had crush on Charles Manson and the Ted Bundy guy. You have all these like white killers that like, oh my God, they have fan bases. Oh my God, let me marry you from prison. It's because
Oh yeah.
America loves white criminals. They love it. But let my black ass commit a crime. They don't like me no more. They don't like me.
No, what I laugh too is about it, like Jodi Arias. The fucking this bitch damn near killed her lover, and yet motherfuckers can't die to put her finger up a snatch. You know what I'm saying? The killed the beat and murdered her. Fucking Casey Anthony, that bitch fucking killed her goddamn baby, and yet people want to impregnate her. Like, again,
And which
guilty. I don't know.
one was it? Her? One of them dropped like was it a porn, or am I tripping? Was it Casey Anthony
Ooh.
dropped something adult or whatever and all that?
Oh man, that would have been heavy my radar if that would have occurred.
He was like, oh no, I would have had them links. I would have had them links. No, okay, maybe I'm tripping, because I know the Octomom got into some adult stuff. I thought one of those crime people. I thought one of those criminal women did, but I could be off. So
what I'm wondering too, because I thought it was mostly, and again, not to be sexist, but wasn't it kind of a lady thing for the most part for them to kind of like I feel like any woman you talk to and she listens to some kind of fucking fucked up CSI CVU type shit that would scare them, and yet, and I don't know if that's just encouragement for them to be better moms or something like, but that's a thing. That's a fucking thing.
That's a good question, because I was gonna say that, because I know I have a buddy who's into true crime stuff and all that, somebody I work with or whatever, but he's a gay male, so I don't know if that like apples to apples or whatever. So yeah, I will say that a lot of white women like those types of shows, if you will. And again,
They're
never
so
speaking in
exciting.
absolutes. What?
It's so exciting, this is
Just
dangerous.
so exciting, just a little danger. But no, and again, I never speak in absolutes or whatever, so it's always one of those things where you gotta add the disclaimer. I'm not talking about all white women, white people. I'm never talking about all or whatever. But it's just one of those things where, yeah, those true crime stuff and serial killer stuff or whatever. Yeah, that's a Caucasian thing. And it's actually funny, because that reminds me of the guy on TikTok. That he does those videos. It's like, oh, white people don't have culture. Oh, yeah. Okay, then. Have you seen those? Oh my
It's
god. Okay, yeah, you haven't seen him. So it's a dude, and so he started this whole parody thing or whatever because there's always the thing where people are like, "Oh, there's no such thing as white culture because whiteness is an American thing, if you will. Like if
right.
you're from France, if you're from
Oh
Europe,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
from different places, you
And
have a
remember the
culture from the country, but there's no such thing as white culture because white culture is America. And what
right,
culture does America have? All of our cultures are taken from elsewhere. Oh, you like hamburgers? Those are from Germany. And you like, hamburgers?
yeah.
Those are from there. And beers from over there.
Because I think some chick, I remember some white girl said, "What do you mean there's no white culture?" And she had like art from Italy and fucking shit from Rome, and it's like, okay, now they're light skinned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They definitely raped and pillaged darker tribes and made some more light skins, but that don't really make it a white.
And it's one of those things where again I'd have to remind people all the time or whatever, and again because a lot of people get confused when it's like, what is this attack on whiteness? The attack on whiteness is not an attack on people of European descent. It's not an attack on Caucasians in America. No, the attack on whiteness is that white is a ideology that was created in the 1600s. It was when slavery happened. Whiteness got created because when you go back in time, like the farther back in the history books you go, the darker the people are. And then when you go back, it was one of those things where after Europe went through their dark ages or whatever, and they finally rose back to prominence, if you will. It was one of those situations where it's like, dang, we can't get wiped off this planet or whatnot. We can't run into a situation like that. We need to figure out how to click up. Oh, instead of saying that you're European and you're Russian, you're this, that, and the third, or wherever, we'll just coin white, and all of us with fair skin or wherever will all be of the same group, and we'll just call it white. So that's what a lot of people mean when they say there is no white culture, because the term white, that's a new creation that hadn't been around since the beginning of time. You can't find any history books from the 1600s and prior that ever mention white people. It was never about race. It was always about cultures. It was always about tribes. It was always about the different places you came from. It was never about the color of our skin until slavery happened. And again, that's where white supremacy came in, because then they flipped everything on its head. And instead of where you come from or whatever, or what value you bring to society, it was all about the color of your skin. So that's what people mean when they're like, there's no such thing as a white culture, because again, what is whiteness and how long has whiteness been around? And that is the reason why too, when someone's like, oh, well, how come you could say black power, but I can't say white power? So because again, white power goes back to white supremacy and something that didn't exist or whatever. And then why is it okay to say black power? The reason why it's okay to say black power is because black people in America are the lost children of Africa, and the great majority of us have no idea what country we came from. So I did my 23andMe, and I'm a proud Nigerian and Ghanaian. I finally found that out in the past couple of years or whatnot. But the average African American, they can't tell you where in Africa they're from. I just know I'm dark, so I'm from over there somewhere. So then that is what blackness is. It's the black people of America, because we lost our history. So we can't be like, oh, I'm African, I'm this and that. I don't know what the hell I am over there. I'm in America. And that's what blackness is. And that's the difference between black power and white power and all that different stuff or whatever. Again, white people, if you're adopted or this, that, and the third or whatever, of course, it's not easy. Again, life isn't easy. Everyone doesn't keep great records or whatever and all that. But if your family kept good enough records, you could trace your lineage all the way back to what country in Europe that you came from. The great majority of black people can't do that. We could just trace ourselves to hopefully the slave plantation that our ancestors came from, but you can't go any further than that because there's no records kept. So,
You know why you blessed, bro? I can tell you why you blessed,
mm,
bro. Uganda. And I remember I was never a big football fan, and so especially in in the Latin culture, it's definitely a big. Obviously, in every culture outside of America, for the most part, it's a big deal, right? Anyways, motherfuckers definitely go hard for whatever part of Espanol. And I had this. I think I found it at the thrift store, dude. It was a Uganda T-shirt. I don't know why. It was my workout shirt, bro. I felt proud. I felt strong and black in that motherfucker. And I didn't realize until later on, somebody who took offense to it, who was like from one of the parts there from out, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, slavery started there. He was like, that's a place that we kind of, look,
Look
it's
down
it's
on.
it's like Latins talking about how great Cuba is, like, with the communist dictator, like it's like bringing that up. And I was like, I
Yeah.
fucking like this goddamn
Like
shirt.
that.
So again, so if your people was from out there, motherfucker, you was favored, and you know what I'm saying, made your way down the boat to the I don't know, but
Yeah, that I
you blessed,
mean,
brother, you blessed.
blessings on blessings on blessings. And no, and it's actually funny because the next clip, speaking of white culture, and unfortunately one of the things of American white culture is the school system and issues at school, so on and so forth. But shouts out to, I keep forgetting this guy. I think he goes by Adam Ruins Everything. He had a good little TikTok video on the problem with American schools.
Blastroice wants me to ruin schools, specifically American schools. I can do it in Blastroice, but it's gonna be rough. If a visitor from another planet, or say Europe, came to America, there are two things they would think are really weird. Number one, the way we pay for healthcare. That's a different video. But number two, the fact that we fund public schools via property taxes. What that means is that the amount of money your school gets isn't based on need or equality, it's based on the real estate prices in your neighborhood. So if you live in this neighborhood, your school has resources up the ass. But if you live in this neighborhood, sorry, your teacher's gotta use her personal debit card to buy pencils. This means that school districts in the same state can have vastly different funding. This rich Arizona district gets to spend $25,000 per student per year, while this poorer neighborhood, one county over, is only able to spend $6,000 a student. So if you're wondering why we have so much income inequality in America, consider this. We know from social science that getting a good education is the most important factor in increasing your future income, yet we built an education system that gives the best education to the richest people who need the help the least. What?
Message. And yeah, that again goes down to a bit of the issue in America. And like he had broke it down to how you have literally that one where, like, a lot of times there are people who are like, oh, well, they're in completely different cities, or they're that state versus this state. He brought up that one where it's literally two counties next to each other. This county is $25,000 per student. This county is like $5,000 per student. And then there was this story, I can't remember what state that was, but it was a sad story of an African American woman who had kids, and she lived in a poor neighborhood. I think she worked like two jobs or something like that, but she lived in a poor neighborhood. She wanted her kids to get up and out of the hood. She wanted a better life for them, and so she lied about the address that they lived at so her kids could go to a better school, and she got like 5 years in jail. Where meanwhile, there's the dude that recently, I forgot his name, who had like raped like so many women, and he admitted during the trial that, yeah, I raped them women or whatever and all that. And then the judge was like, oh, well, I think he's been through enough, so he doesn't need to go to jail. What do you mean? He's out here raping people. He's admitting that he did it. And it's like, no, he's been through enough. But then this black woman who just wants her kids to have a better future or whatever, she got 5 years. And again, I get it that, yeah, you forged some paperwork, so on and so forth, or whatever. Should be some type of slap on the wrist. And then you send her kids back to, wherever they go. But again, the American school system is designed purposely the way it is because they want to keep the rich, they want to keep the poor, and then the American schools are literally designed to teach kids how to sit somewhere for 8 hours and pay attention to something without getting upset, so then they can take those skills to a regular 9 to 5 to make some rich Republican some money. And oh, if you guys don't like that, you're going to get funneled to jail. And oh, would you look at that same rich Republican is still making that money off of you because they also own those private school systems. The system isn't broke. It's working exactly how it's supposed to.
And oh shit, you're gonna give me. I remember, and I know I bring this up a lot, but they even got shit down to a science. And I remember there was this NPR article that talked about some city in Maryland, how in the summer times they're recording record heat strokes, or whatever the case, temperatures, right? And for some reason, and I think this is the same down here too, bro. You go to South Phoenix in the summertime, it feels a little hotter than it would be in a breezy fucking Paradise Valley area.
Yeah.
Again,
Air's a little different.
Why. Tell me why if we both got mountains next to us. It don't fucking make sense. And again, and they say that it's geographically like coordinated. And I'm wondering to myself, well, that's how gentrification then happens, when they didn't realize,
Yes.
oh shit, we got to fucking skedaddle these fucking miscreants out the goddamn way, and fucking make goddamn Skid Row downtown.
Yeah. And it's
And
one of those things, like going back to South Phoenix. Like I had a conversation with a couple of guys recently. It was some other fathers on one of my kids' basketball teams. And we were talking about something. I forgot, how it came up or whatever. But we were talking about something. I was like, yeah, I was like, I was raised, or I was born in the hood or whatever. I'm from South Phoenix or whatever. And then like one dude's from like Philly and the other dude's from like Cali. And then they kind of like joke like, oh, the South Side's not, anything. It's
oh
like,
yeah,
well,
people love to talk shit about our South Side.
and it's like, yeah, bro, because you see gentrified South Phoenix. I grew up in South Phoenix in the 80s and 90s or whatever, before they start putting Starbucks up all over the place. Literally, there's a Starbucks on the block where I got robbed once. I got robbed at knife point on this block. And now when I drive past it, it's a motherfucking Starbucks right there. Again, gentrification is real. And it's one of those things where I had a homeboy when he was 18 or wherever, he did some stuff. He got knocked or wherever. He did 5. I'll never forget that he got out of jail. Again, we're born and raised on South Side. He got out of jail. He caught a bus back home, to the South Side. He got lost on his own block. And this is the dude that used to bang. So like he used to bang. So he was in them streets, and he got lost in his own neighborhood because they gentrified the block. Like that Starbucks wasn't there. That Walgreens wasn't there. Why does that road curve and go the way that, like, why is everything different? So it's one of those things where I brought that up with people where I'm like, yeah, I'm from the South Side, or I grew up in a bad neighborhood, and oh my God, South Phoenix, that's not nothing. It's, yeah, again, because it got gentrified in the early 2000s, so it's not the South Side that I used to know, even though it's still some real niggas in there. And like I'll never forget too, I had a homeboy that moved out here from Michigan, and he, same thing, he don't know nothing or whatever. And I had a house that was written out in the South Side when I had my studio that I was running through, recording people, so on and so forth. And he came through, for a studio session, and then he got there and he was like, I'm so confused. He was like, I'm driving down Rozier towards your house, and he was like, how come on this side all these houses is brand new, and on this side all these houses look like they from the 1970s? I was like, that's gentrification. I was like, that used to be an empty block over there. I was like, they building houses all over there now. And he was like, okay. He was like, see, he said, I thought I was in the hood, because he was like, I can tell the difference where it's like, that's the hood and this is the new stuff they're trying to build on top of the hood. I was like, yeah, you called it. It is. That's what it is.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember I lived in some little trap ass apartments on Central and Rozier, and you just go a little bit further east into like 24th Street, and goddamn, there's some new houses. You know what I'm saying? Fucking fence area, like goddamn. Shit, forget what I was gonna say about that, but no, it's yeah. No, just leave
It's
it at
wild.
that, man. It ain't the same. It ain't the same.
It ain't the same. It ain't the same. So no, and speaking of stuff that isn't the same, oh my God, this world that we live in, all these kids is on these new drugs and all this stuff. And this article came up recently that I thought was rather interesting. Apparently fentanyl overdoses have become the number one cause of death among US adults aged 18 to 45. And apparently drug overdoses have hit an all-time high since the COVID-19 pandemic.
So
So
opioids and fentanyl, those are different things, right? Opioids
I
are downer,
think
fentanyl's are upper.
I
I
think
mean, they all come
so.
from Pfizer, but I mean, like,
I think so, and it's still one of those things I'm super confused about, because, like, again, I don't know this new stuff that these kids is on, so like I don't know a whole lot about fentanyl, but I think you nailed it.
was it
The
it's pills,
only
right? Like, or motherfuckers snorting it, like.
so that's the problem with fentanyl though, because with fentanyl, I know it's basically in powder form, and then that's a bit of the problem with fentanyl, is that you could use it in various manners. And so like a
No.
good example is, again, like if you're somebody who sells cocaine, or you sell crack or something like that, you step on your product, you stretch your product to make it last a little longer, you put a little extra baking powder in there or whatever to kind of stretch it out so you could maximize your dollar. Another thing that you can do is you can sprinkle a little fentanyl in it to give that super high without not putting too much coke in there, so on and so forth. But then the problem is that fentanyl, is killing motherfuckers like crazy. Again, rest in peace, Mac Miller. I'll never forget that was the whole thing with Mac Miller, was he had got some cocaine, but it was laced with fentanyl, and that's what killed him. Prince, so I forgot what exactly happened with Prince, but same
He
thing.
has some
Prince
back
got,
problems.
yeah, and like his medicine was like laced with like fentanyl. Same thing with Michael Jackson. I think they found fentanyl in Michael Jackson's DNA. Fentanyl ain't no joke, and apparently, so the data says that between 2020 and 2021, nearly 79,000 people between 18 and 45. And then, yeah, so it's 37,000 in 2020 and 41,000 in 2021 died of fentanyl overdoses. And yes, here we go. So it's a synthetic opioid. That word kicks my ass. That can be even deadly, or it can be deadly even in very small amounts. Other drugs, including heroin, meth, and marijuana, can be laced with dangerous drugs. And then apparently Mexico and China are the primary sources for the flow of fentanyl into the United States. Now,
Yeah.
the thing that I found interesting with all that is that they had said that these overdoses have been on the rise since the pandemic. And I'm not surprised, Papo. People
All
are
we got
depressed
time.
right now.
All we got time is to fucking to get high. I ain't got.
All
I
you
mean,
got, you only got time to get high or to masturbate. There's no time to do anything else other than those two things. So I'm not surprised.
see, and remember, this has been an ongoing thing even since the early days and when we started doing the show. And before it was targeting elder or middle-aged white people. So I'm wondering, is this now the official trickle-down effect onto the kids? Because you figure if you got someone that's around 45, at the oldest, maybe their kids are going to be 20 or your high school age below. So again, they're witnessing parents pop this. They're figuring from their favorite rapper how to dice it, chop it, step on it, and whatnot. And so then they again. So if that's the age range, and I'm just wondering more race related, and I guess it's not even necessary because like we've seen the facts from before, where again it was attacking middle aged white people, and it was a catastrophe,
Yeah.
and so again, is this just the kids following suit? Because you figure as an adult, the kids can do whatever the fuck they want. And I
Yeah.
know one of the things that I try to do to when I speak to my younger nephews and nieces is like, yo, if y'all can, because my homie from New Mexico comes down every now and again. And before he used to be able to bring the kids until one day his mama came over and the house smelled too much like weed. Could you imagine my house smelling like weed? Motherfucker, I got a Glade plug-in in every goddamn room. Shut the fuck up. But
We good.
anyways, but the kids, they know stuff, and somehow the conversation came up, and I was like, well, I really hope, and I tried to preach this because I wish I would have listened. Wait till you're 25. Wait till your body has literally finished developing, supposedly, and
Yeah.
then experiment. Because honestly, you're not gonna like a cigarette that late in age. You're gonna be
And
like,
you
"Fuck."
called it. So that's the thing too. So with alcohol and with marriage. So first things first, everything is a tool. It always depends on how you use it. Same thing. I can give you a hammer, and if you're someone who builds houses, that's a useful tool. I could build a house with this. If you're a serial killer and I give you a hammer, you're going to go hurt some people. So it's all about how you use it. And then you nailed it, that's literally what it is. Like, you shouldn't be doing any of this stuff until you're at least 25, because your body's fully developed, your brain is done developing or whatever, and you're not damaging the development of it. Now, furthermore, the other thing, and this is controversial to a lot of people, but I agree wholeheartedly, this is what we need to figure out how to do, because there's like Portuguese and other European countries, this is shown to work. You legalize all the drugs. You make it all legal. And when you make it all legal, for one, you could start making sure that it's not bad product coming into the States. You make sure it's clean product that's getting to the people. Because if the people want to do drugs, they're going to do drugs. Don't matter if it's legal or not, they're going to do it. Then furthermore, by making it legal, there's no longer a stigma to it. And so if someone needs help, they'll go get help. That's the reason why, like, there's so many people who go to Alcohol Anonymous because they have a drinking problem. And they're like, man, yeah, I have a drinking problem. I need some help or whatever. A lot of people wouldn't be um as comfortable saying, hey man, I smoke crack. Like, can you help me stop smoking crack? Like, people laugh at you if you're
Yeah.
like, if that's what you do. So like, again, if it
Crackhead,
was you goddamn crackhead, you meth head. Like,
junkies.
if it was legal and there was no longer this stigma to it or whatever, people would, for one, get better products, so then they're not going to get these overdoses or whatever. Then they could get education on how to properly use it. It's one of those things, like if I wanted to try acid, I don't know how much acid you're supposed to take. Like there's no course for that. Like I don't know what you're supposed to take. And then furthermore, if the people are doing the drugs and then they want to get off the drugs or whatever, then again, you could help these people and there's not that stigma anymore. Because if someone says they're alcoholic, you don't bat an eye, even though if you go back 100 years ago or whatever, they was killing, arresting motherfuckers. That's the whole start of the Chicago crime syndicate over there, was with Capone and all them bootlegging alcohol. That was the start of all of this. But they made alcohol legal and all that. Now I can go to a baseball game and I can drink a beer and not get looked at. But somebody breaks out a joint at the baseball game. Oh my God, what about the kids? Like, shut up. So,
bitch, just a few years ago, we didn't have smoking sections. So we could be in whatever, all up and down this motherfucker. Y'all breathing this shit. It's killing you. Literally, studies,
exactly.
right? I laugh a lot, and now I remember the gentrification thing I wanted to talk about earlier about the Sopranos, but I guess it's too late for that. When it comes to again being able, because we talked about it early on in this, I don't know, in the series, but early on in the creation of the show. And so it had been with 2012, 2013s, and Connecticut, New Jersey, Maryland, all the little shits near New York. They were starting hospitals sites where people who are doing heroin can go and get clean needles. And mind you, it's a start, and it's one of those things where I imagine, I don't know where shit is now because it's been damn near 10 years, where I wonder what development has happened to where at least maybe less cause of AIDS or less spread of, I'm sure, certain diseases, if not some deaths, because if you're going to OD, but not based on a fucking broken needle or whatever the fuck,
Exactly.
So shit like that definitely needs to be funded, because again, without us being able to, again, like you mentioned, weed now is more in the conversation because now we're more and more opening up to it, but still in the early stages to where it's not so much taboo, but definitely it's it's early. It's a little early for this, right?
Yeah.
But can you imagine the day that shit's come like in fucking packs of cigarettes where you can get joints, and it's just a commonplace thing to where, again, I remember seeing a funny ass Vine back in the day where it goes, some little crackhead looking dude, motherfucker, said, I can't believe you're smoking weed in the apartment complex. He's like, bitch, I'm smoking crack. Know your smells. And it's like, one of the things that shocked me, bro, the first time I think I ever smoked meth or crack, I used to work for a homeless shelter, bro. And someone was sparking up, and someone was like, oh shit, someone's fucking smoking crack right now. And I'm like, really? I thought that shit was like a gas line or some shit. Like, no, nigga, that's crack. Like, oh, and he was alert too, like, oh, that's crack. I know crack when I smells it. And good for that person know what the fuck that smell is, and we stopped it or whatever the hell. But it's one of those things you're like, I wouldn't fucking know. Weed, of course, you're like, that's interesting, right? But again, now it becomes something that I'm fucking used to smelling fucking crystal meth. How do you know?
What is that? Yeah. And that's why, like you had mentioned too, because like the same thing with sets workers being, doing sets work. That should be legal. Because again, if you make sets work legal, there's a lot less of the behind the scenes transactions or wherever and all that. You have a situation where you work for a company and that's what you do, is you're a sets worker or whatever. And then you can get health insurance, and then you can get, get regularly tested to make sure that, you're not spreading STDs, so on and so forth. Like, again, the problem with America is that we criminalize everything. And again, you could make drugs illegal, people are still going to do them. You can make sets work illegal, people are still going to do that. You could make dang, I lost my train of thought. The other one,
nepotism.
Abortion. No, abortion. You can make abortion illegal. People, if they don't want the kid, they're still going to abort the kid. They're just going to go with unsafer situations.
Yeah.
Stop criminalizing everything.
One of the things that I would have thought, and both again, so put my Republican hat on, or say put the money makers on, tax the fuck out of it, right? Because apparently, and I'm glad I'm still a medical person, but I hear people bitching about how much weed costs legally, and I'm like, bitch, you didn't have the option before. That's why people can't really complain. But at the same time, it's like, again, tax it. All right, it's uncomfortable, but shit, tax it. And again, especially if it's going to provide for healthcare and fucking other safety standards. Dude, can you imagine how much we could probably stop human trafficking if we fucking knew this bitch is not doing this shit right, something's going on, red flag, right? Like we
So
can stop
much.
so many things. But at the
And-
same time, how much is that maybe funneling? And maybe that's the reason why we can't pass these things, because
Yeah.
there's a little bit too much money in the back end.
And that's always the thing at the end of the day is, again, the root of all evil with everything or whatever. It all comes back to capitalism.
Yeah.
And that is the thing, like you said, or whatever, how many of these backdoor deals are going? How many of these people are, politicians who are fighting, making sure that this stuff stays illegal, but at the same time, they are, working
Fine,
with certain
Jeff
people to
Epstein's
get it in
place.
here. Yeah, and that too. And again, it goes back to shouts out to fucking Nancy Reagan, the throat goat.
Ooh.
Shouts out to Nancy Reagan and who did that whole DARE program with just say no to drugs and all that. But meanwhile, her husband was pumping crack on the block. You're literally, and that's again the
biggest
two
sleight of
sides of the
hand,
same
bro.
coin. Like, say no to drugs, and the husband's like, "Yo, we getting paid. Y'all got this brick." Like, he's
These
flying
motherfuckers
bricks.
don't listen. They don't
I got
listen.
these birds, man. These birds is flying. Like, what is going on?
That's like when Obama was in, and Michelle, God bless her soul, trying to make lunch schools healthier. And motherfucker, we gonna mass produce gluten.
Gonna mass produce it. And that's also the thing too. And I would have to double check. No, I don't think it's fentanyl. I think it's heroin. But that was the same thing that there's a study, reports, wherever, so on and so forth, that there's way more heroin in the country since we invaded the Middle East. So since we've been going to war in the Middle East 20 years ago, we've been getting oil and we've been getting heroin from the Middle East. So again, it's one of those things where, given about 20 years, there's going to be a Rick Ross, a freeway Ricky Ross of this era that was like, "Yo, man, Bush had me flying them birds, man. I called up Obama. He was like, 'Yo, I can help you out, but I need you to fly these birds.'" Like, it's eventually going to happen. So
give it 30
I
years.
don't know. Give it 30 years. Yeah, we'll find out who the new Rick Ross is. So
some shit pop off, and then they already told us aliens are real. Shit, what else they got in the crates?
What else you got? What else you got? No, and it's funny too. So shouts out to this radio broadcaster Thom Hartmann, who had a interesting engagement with the Anti-Vaxxer, and I thought this was a interesting take that he shared with the guy. So,
hey Tom, I was listening to you for the last hour or so. I heard survival of the fittest. Some of us choose not to vaccinate because
you're nuts, Nicholas.
we work very hard about staying fit, eating healthy, and our natural immune system.
So, Nicholas, if you're so healthy, would you have unprotected sex with somebody who has syphilis or gonorrhea?
You're missing the point.
No, I'm not missing the point. They're contagious diseases. Would you have unprotected sex with somebody who has syphilis and gonorrhea and not worry about it because you're so healthy?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, then why would you expose yourself to COVID without having some protection?
Because the protection is my natural immunity.
No, it's not. Tell that to 800,000 dead Americans. Nicholas, this is a stupid conversation, and I'm not going to continue it.
Yo, that was one hell of a take of.
That made sense right there.
That made a lot of sense. If your body's natural, you're doing all this, wherever you're taking care of yourself or whatever, would you openly have sex with someone with an STD and just let your body take care of it?
Jesus, take the wheel like a motherfucker. Goddamn.
Now, how cute is she? That's the question. How cute is she? Hold on. Is the booty rotund? Is it rotund?
Can my dick fit? Go ahead.
Decisions. But no, so I did think that was an interesting take, because again, so at the end of the day, this is the new controversial thing that we're never going to get over or whatever. So again, everybody has their own, it's freedom of choice. That is supposed to be the beauty of America, is we could all have our choices or whatever, so on and so forth. The other side of it too, though, is always whatever your stance is, make sure you understand what your stance is and stand in it, if you will. So like I have someone, actually a good example is I have somebody at my job, and again, we're all working from home. I got somebody at my job who refuses to get vaccinated. And the reason why she refuses to get vaccinated is she's been like vaccinated before or whatever, and she's had issues. Like she literally just got had a dentist appointment recently or whatever, and from having her teeth pulled and the medicine that they gave her because of that, she got like a bacteria infection and like super bad stuff, so on and so forth. So she's like, I'm not getting vaccinated because I know how sensitive my body is to foreign agents or whatever. So I'm not going to put myself through that. It's like, yep, I get that 100%. And then if you're someone who's like, no, I can't wait to stand in line to get the vaccine or whatever, because even though, you know, I don't really trust the government, this, that, and the third or whatever, I also think that COVID is a real thing that, you know, so on and so forth, then all power to you. The thing, and I think the biggest issue and the reason why I think that this has gotten so out of whack is, again, with politics, is a lot of this got out of whack with politics. And I just realized I don't have the clip. But so during, again, let's go back to Donald Trump in office. So COVID hit. And actually, first, you got to go back a little further. So when Obama was in office, he did pass some rules or whatever to kind of help the CDC or whatever in case of a world emergency, some type of pandemic, so on and so forth. Trump, of course, got in office and did what we unfortunately go through. You have a Democrat for so many years, you have a Republican for so many years, and instead of them actually trying to push the country forward or whatever, everyone just keeps, let me just reverse what that other person did. And that's the reason why we've been in a standstill since Kennedy died. So Trump got into office and he rolled back a whole bunch of stuff or whatever that we had in place or whatever for FEMA and the CDC or whatever to make sure that like something like this doesn't happen. Then something like this did happen. And instead of addressing it, because I do genuinely think that we could have got away or we could have stopped this from being as bad if the entire world just shut down for 2 weeks. If the entire world just stayed in their house for 2 weeks, because that's how long the thing is contagious, everyone stays in their house for 2 weeks, it wouldn't have spread or whatever. And then the thing is, I've seen people say that like, oh, remember when they said we just got to stay in the house for 2 weeks and this would all be over? Yeah, you niggas never stayed in the house. No one ever stayed in the house. Like no one ever did that. Like, again, this pandemic has not been the same for every single, you know, person, if you will. So yeah, so then all that happened or whatever, and then again Trump turned it into a racial thing. It was like, oh, it's those Chinese people, and then hate crimes against Asians went through the roof. And so it's one
That
of
was a
those
good
things.
run, wasn't it? That was a good run.
Oh
Remember when we hated Asian people?
Remember when we hated them? We you know, we didn't have a problem with the blacks or the Mexicans anymore, you know, or the Muslims or whatever. It was them Asians that we hated for a little bit. And again, just like things got completely out of whack, where then now we're at a place where like, and I get it because I don't trust the government either. So I 100% get it. I do think that a lot of the diseases, like cancer is one of them, where I do think that at some point we're going to get to a place in society where we're going to, you know, have the science to be able to truly figure things out. And I do think that eventually we're going to find out that cancer has something to do with like all the nutrients getting sucked out of food and out of vegetables and fruits and all that. We're putting all this fake bullshit in us or whatever to keep our stomachs full, but it's not actually giving us anything. I'm pretty sure eventually we're going to figure all that out with cancer, so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of, oh, go ahead.
I mean, mind you, it might just be with other things like AIDS or whatever like that. But like, I feel like the cure is out there. But remember, there's much more money in the fucking medicine and shit. If we can put you through programs that require you to use specialists and got to do this and that, but it's a fucking chain effect of bills.
Yeah. So that's
again,
the other
I know
thing.
it's around for another day.
No, and that's the other thing. So to add to that's my overall belief. So do I believe that COVID was invented in some lab and it was a biological weapon or this, that, and the third, or population control? I don't think it's none of that. Like, I really don't. Like, we would have went about it better. We would have did it a little better. Yeah. And again, like I'm one of the people who, again, like those who watch the podcast forever, you know, I'm conspiracy verse or whatever. I used to very much so be Illuminati, you know, runs everything, so on and so forth. I guess I don't believe in humans enough anymore to think that they're that genius enough to come together with this worldwide conspiracy. Like, I just think humans are just too fucking stupid to, you know, pull off something on a mass scale. So
it's real dumb luck. Real dumb luck.
So I say all that to say that I do believe that COVID is a real disease that really spread out, so on and so forth. And I do think that we need to do something to figure it out, because if not, I do think that this is our new society, is that COVID and other diseases like this are going to continue to mutate or whatever. And this is just the new norm that we live in. But also on the other side, I do agree with you that either there could possibly be a cure, or if there isn't a cure, there's not a rush to get a cure, because at the end of the day, again, the root of all evil, like I used to believe in the Illuminati, but now I believe in capitalism. Capitalism is the root of all evil. And so that again is like, okay, why aren't they curing this? Well, they're not curing it because there's no money in the cure. Like, I'm gonna give you something or whatever. So, because again, and that's the other thing too, and that's the other reason why I have a problem with the depopulation thing, because once we get to a point where we have robots and robots do all the slave manual labor or whatever, yes. If I'm a rich elite reptilian or whatever and all that, yes, depopulation, I'm going to get rid of all these motherfuckers so I can have all this land because I got the robots doing the work. But if you kill all the poor people, who does the work? Because the rich people aren't doing the work. Like, so they still need the poor people to do the work. So that's why I don't believe in depopulation. Like,
not until we can figure out automation.
Yes, until we got some automation, you still got fucking Bill Gates and motherfuckers like that they don't want to do that work. They still need someone else to do it. So it was the same thing. I remember having a conversation with someone about chemtrails. It's kind of the same thing with chemtrails. I have a hard time believing in chemtrails because we're all breathing the same air, unless the same thing with chemtrails, there's a vaccine that just the rich have so they don't die. Like, I don't know. Just, it gets complicated. So I say all that.
Ooh, I just want to tag in really quickly on the chemtrails thing, which I know everybody wants to have some 2 cents to say. But you got to think about also distance and like maybe in certain ozones. Like we're in regions, bro. This is fucking, fucking, I don't know, corner 13. You know what I'm saying? Like we're in sub blocks, bro. So you figure when these shits hit, like, if we can count where a grenade's gonna fall, you would imagine. Now again, mist obviously a little more free flowing, which I can understand the sentiment of it not really working. But if there's some way to drag it down, bro, like if we can make sound bounce off different fucking corners, why couldn't we control fucking?
So, but the thing with that though, with the air, is just like that's what it was. It was a beach in like. Well, no, it was like a beach in like California or something. I can't remember or whatever, but they took like sand from like the beach or whatever, and they did like a study on it or whatever, and they were able to find all these molecules and all these sand things and all that from all over the world. Then it was like, it's like, yo, it's crazy. It's like, this is the sand here in like California, but you can find remnants of like the whole world here or whatever, is because of the atmosphere and like air moves around. And so like, even if they create, and then again, that goes into like, you have to believe that they're doing something with dropping it in the air, and then they're doing something where they're sucking it down into the ground to keep it in regions. Then you also then have to believe in the conspiracy theory that the government is like 50 years ahead of us in technology. And then again, it's one of those things where like, I don't trust humans enough that there's all these secrets, all these things, all these inner workings behind the scene, and none of this shit is leaking.
They say the same thing about the people who make the Grand Theft Auto games. Like, you never fucking hear any leaks until it's time for marketing. Like, they really have to have security on lockdown. But eventually something, right? You would imagine a disgruntled employee. Come on now.
And that's the big difference between 300 people working on a game, if you will, and 300 million people working behind the scenes because they're the Illuminati. Just, I don't know. And again, I am a person who I don't think or act in absolutes or whatever, because I'm also the same one who, it's like, there could possibly be Illuminati. And if it is Illuminati, it's not a political group, it's not a classist group or anything like that. It's a religion. That's the only way the Illuminati makes sense, is that there's a religion. And that's the reason, because again, like the other thing that you got to kind of think of in the society, and the reason why I have a hard time believing people will work together, is you have so much racism and you have so much nationalism within the world. So like, okay, this black and this white person won't get along, or this American and this Russian won't get along. What is going to rise above all of that to get these motherfuckers to work together? And again, there is money and all that, but again, that still comes with a cost, and eventually there's going to be some beef. It would have to be a religion or something that's greater than race and greater than nationalism and so on and so forth.
No, I feel you on that. Because if the UN can't fucking hang, goddamn, what are 4 billion. I don't know what the highest amount of monies can be, but fuck motherfuckers that own pieces of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, and again, like I said, again, I don't believe in absolutes. I never claimed to have the answer to everything. I've tried to make it make sense to me. And just some of the things I just can't wrap my brain around. And I'd say all that to say to, again, bringing it back to COVID again. I believe COVID is a real thing. I don't necessarily think that the VATS is something created to kill people. Though I don't think that they're going to work on a cure, because then they're going to not be able to make money off of it, so on and so forth. And at the end of the day,
we're fucking reprinting this shit to fucking cover this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we're reproducing money, bro. Like we're fucking digging into the vaults to fucking, like, we're not using reserves, but we're reprinting. You know what I'm saying?
We're
like
printing money. Yeah, and that's why, again,
fund this, and so it's like, but it would seem like a waste of money if there was a way to fix it. So again, that's why that's another reason why I would believe that it's real, because there's just too much that we're fucking losing in this shit to keep it contained.
And the other thing too that
was a goddamn accident. Shit.
Yeah. And the other thing that was also like super interesting to me when it came to the vaccine was that when the vaccine was created, you had all of these rich elite people that came up with all these rules and regulations why they were the first ones that were supposed to get the vaccine. You had a bunch of people rushing to get the vaccine. And actually, that was the other thing. I kind of brought it up and then we, walked around it. But that was the other thing. Donald Trump, I forgot to download the clip, but Trump just did like a thing with whatchamacallit, Bill O'Reilly. And they were talking about the vaccine and they were talking about this or whatever. And Trump was talking to all his Trumpsters. And he was like, don't you fall for it or whatever. He was like, they're making you fall into their hands. And Trump went on a go out and get vaccinated rant. And then Trump was like, yeah, I got my booster shot. And there was a couple of people in the audience that was booing. And then some people that got online and they were like, oh my God, Trump, I loved and respected you. And I thought you were Jesus. How could you turn on me so bad? Oh my God. And again, it was interesting. It's one of those things too, because again, with Fox News is one of the biggest perpetrators of all of the stories about the vaccine and how bad the vaccine is. But a lot of people don't realize that Fox News is owned by Disney. And in order to work for Disney or go into Disney offices, you have to be vaccinated. So every last one of those Fox News people are going on TV talking about don't get the vaccine. It's killing the kids and it's giving you autism. And meanwhile, every last one of those people are vaccinated. That's the only way you could work for Fox, because it is owned by Disney. And that's a rule at Disney. Everybody on Fox, everybody on ESPN, all them Disney subsidiaries. That was the whole thing with Black Panther. They almost had to recast Shuri because Shuri refused to get vaccinated. And they were like, well, if you can't get vaccinated, we're not going to bring you on set. You won't be in the new Black Panther or whatever. Again, that's a rule of Disney.
Anyway, but that's fucked up. No, I mean...
So, stop letting them lie to y'all. That's again, it's all money, it's all games, it's all politics. I talked about it last week with the whole Capitol thing, where it was like, all these Republicans are on Fox News talking about how the, Capitol storming was so American, this, that, and the third or whatever. But then all of their all their text messages leaked or whatever, and all of them were calling up like, oh my God, you need to tell Trump to, stop that and this, that, and the third. Again, what they say in person is completely different than what they don't say on TV. Because again, and that goes for all media outlets and all news outlets or whatever. But again, Fox News was a bit of the start of that. It's a soap opera. Fox News is just like the American school system. It is designed in the appropriate way to garner the appropriate reaction from the appropriate people. It's doing its job.
That's why, not to judge people, but if you have a motherfucker that has Fox News on all day, please believe.
All day?
They're all day, don't change it. Just, that's all they're hearing. Oh yeah, they're being stirred. They're being churned.
And it is one thing too, because I don't watch the news at all. And if I do watch the news or whatever, I'm a Young Turks person. I still subscribe to them on YouTube. So every so often I'll check out, something with Young Turks. But that was one of the things that was interesting. The last time there was the civil unrest, and I think that was after the George Floyd situation where we had all these protests. And it was interesting channel surfing the news while that was going on. because you would bring up like CNN and they'd be like, oh yeah, this is going on and this is what the people are saying and this is what they want people to hear, so on and so forth, whatever, and all that. And then you would go to Fox News and Fox News would find the one fire that they can find and be like, oh my God, look, people are like dying. Like there's 80 dead bodies right there. And just the difference of how, again, Fox News is very much about emotion and like, let me bring you in and, oh, you should be scared out there in the world. And yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. So yeah. Now, before we get out of here, one other conspiracy that we got to get into, because you know, tis the season. It is Christmas, and I wouldn't be your boy Arizona Verse without raining on people's parade. If you love Christmas and you want to put Christ back into Christmas, this, that, and the third, and all that good stuff, whatever. Shouts out to my boy Charity Croft on IG. Think you should watch this. Educate yourself. Yeah.
Oh no.
My name is Charity Croft. It's Christmas time! But why this time? I mean, I'm sure you already know December 25th has nothing to do with Jesus' birthday. According to the Bible, he was born sometime between spring and early October, but it was absolutely not December 25th. So then what is the reason for the season? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's most likely because in the year 336, the Roman Emperor Constantine was trying to do away with paganism and really make Christianity a thing. Well, at that time, the biggest ancient festival was something called Saturnalia. This was a festival celebrating the god Saturn that lasted a little over a week starting on December 17th. The ancient Romans chose this time to celebrate Saturn because it was during winter solstice, which is when the sun is in a very specific position in the sky. Now, we won't get too far into that, but listen, once you learn why Saturday is named after Saturn and why Sunday is named after the sun, and notice how most religious activities take place on one of those 2 days, a lot of things will start making sense to you. Anyway, so Constantine thought, since everybody's already celebrating at this time, I can just make this the day that we celebrate Jesus, and the whole world can make a much easier transition to Christianity. You gotta realize that at this time, most people worshiped multiple deities and were so-called pagans. Well, since Constantine and the Council of Nicaea were hell-bent on making Christianity the most powerful religion on earth, they just slapped their holidays on top of pagan holidays so the people could convert easier. Side note, the reason why Easter is always celebrated on a different day every year is because it's always the Sunday after the first full moon of the vernal equinox. Super pagan, nothing to do with Jesus' resurrection, nothing. Anywho, Christmas trees were used to decorate Saturnian temples, mistletoe was used by ancient druids because they believe it had mystical powers, and presents were given during winter solstice to celebrate the spring to come. Pagan, pagan, pagan! And you ain't even know it. So pagan, in fact, that Christmas was outlawed in the New World when the Puritans first got here because they knew how pagan it was. It didn't become okay till the 1680s when they realized that gift giving could be profitable. Speaking of pagan, what does that word even mean? Like, why do we act like pagan means devil worshiper? The actual definition of pagan is any person holding religious beliefs other than the main world religions. So in other words, anybody who is not Christian or Muslim. Words like that is how Christianity was able to take over the entire planet by creating a bad word for people who didn't convert. He is pagan! Kill him! Back to Christmas. Who is this guy? Well, it's Santa Claus. He's actually based off a real person named Saint Nicholas, but you probably knew that already. But did you know that Saint Nick was a bishop in the Church of Turkey? He anonymously gave 3 bags of gold to a poor family, and after that everybody just made up this legend about anonymous gifts coming from a guy named St. Nicholas, and Santa Claus was born. Now he lives in the North Pole, even though he's from the Middle East. So that means that originally Santa Claus's gift giving was a noble act of helping the poor. But in the 1800s, companies found that it was far more profitable to make it about little kids, because of course people buy gifts for kids before they buy them for poor people, and so companies like Macy's started using Santa's name to make Christmas into a corporate capitalist fiasco. But here is the biggest point of this video. In America alone, we spend more than $465 billion on Christmas presents every year. Those are gifts for one day, $465 billion. Well, check this out. According to Charity Water, you can buy a well for $5,000 that will provide water for 250 people for 20 years. And according to Feed the Children, you can buy a meal for 300 people for $120. So if you do the math, $120 times 3 meals a day times 365 days a year, then add in the cost of the water well, you could provide 300 starving people with food and water for a whole year with only $136,400. So if we take that $465 billion we spend, we could feed 1,020,000,000 people for a year. Well, it gets crazier. According to World Food Program's hunger statistics, there are only 795 million starving people on Earth. So that means with the money America alone spends on one Christmas, we can literally end world hunger for a year. Now let's take that one step further. If we just did away with the entire gift-giving part of Christmas, and every year we use the same money that we would have spent on presents to instead feed the poor, there would be no such thing as hunger, and the entire world would have food. Merry Christmas. I love you. One more thing, if you want to learn everything that I talked about in this video, plus...
Oh my God.
Sorry, too late. We had a cut for time.
No, and follow him, Charity Croft, on Twitter. Yeah, he does a lot of real good videos, and I do love that because at the end of every one of his videos or whatever, whatever information he's given to you and he's trying to get you to digest, at the end of the video, he just wants you to know, I love you. I just want you to understand. So shouts out to that brother. Shouts out to Charity Croft. But man, again, Christmas, put Christ back in Christmas. Christ was never in Christmas. That was never a Christian holiday. That's a pagan holiday.
But they got you, didn't they?
They got you. I put Christ in the name and you loved it. Like, they got you. So
well, there was a real infamous episode of South Park where he discovered he wanted to be platinum or something, or he wanted to make a gold record or something or another. And he figured, man, how can I easily make so many people buy my music? And he goes, and he's making shit, talking shit, saying that if he needed a dumb Christian to buy a dumb Christian album, and there's so many Christians in the world that he'd be able to hit whatever. And again, it works because you need product. Every there's a niche for everything. God damn it, my homie is making fetish porns with just feet. Like there's no sex involved. It's just feet and gooey shit. And
I swear to God, I said the same thing. If I was a woman, there's no way I would not have an OnlyFans. Because again, like you just said, you don't even have to have sex. You ain't got to be showing your lady parts or anything like that. You could literally make a foot fetish one and you'll be raking in the dollars. Like,
real talk, man. The Holy Spirit really tells me I need to do these fat fetish shits where I put like mayo like on my rolls and I don't know, and have someone lick off of it. Like,
I guarantee you there's an audience for it. I guarantee you.
I'm just afraid of blowing up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'd be like, dang, that's the thing. Like, man, I did all this music stuff. I did all this podcasting thing. The mayo in the belly. That's the thing that blew up. All right. I see you, God. I see you.
And then everyone's going to bite. And then it's going to be a whole thing, bro.
I'm the one that started this mayo in the belly shit.
It's the little fucking thanks I get.
This the thanks I get. Oh my God. My God. So again,
the religion shit, man. Like, bro, one of the biggest battles in my marriage was my defense of not wanting to give into the corporate shit. Listen, let's definitely get some presents because hell, I want to be spoiled too. God damn it, But it's like I was telling you, man. One of the times I was working a collections gig, and I was right on 19th or up the freeway in Peoria, bro, near the 17. And I remember the homelesses, bro. Every holiday, these motherfuckers had Thanksgiving turkey hats, or it was what's that Irish day where everyone gets drunk and drinks Guinness?
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. Mo bitches had the fucking little green little fuzzies fucking swinging around. Valentine's Day, bro, had the little hearts. Like, who the fuck is giving this bitch inventory? Or is this just? And I heard about there being organizations that pretty much make panhandlers, send them out. Like, there has to be that. I don't know if it's conspiracy or not, but to think that motherfuckers with these of the time, I don't know, what do you call those, bro? Not trinkets. It's not souvenirs. It's fucking probably goddamn propaganda, brother. Is what I fucking
basically.
Call it.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, and you feel for people who really need it, right? But for that motherfucker that's specifically looking for 76 cents to get on the bus back to Tucson, you know what I'm saying? But they're in the South Phoenix at a fucking AM PM looking hella high. Like, you just don't know.
And it's one of those things too, because recently I had left just again the universe is funny. I never have cash. I always just use my card. I never have cash on me. And so I went to Walmart and I had bought something. For whatever reason, I had cash on me. So I got like $3 in change back. And I had it in my pocket. And then I'm like leaving Walmart. And then it's the Salvation Army person out there with the bell, so on and so forth. I'm like, oh, let me just go ahead and give them these $3. So I went over there and slid the $3 because I was like, it's gonna fall in my pocket or it's gonna be in the car. Like, I don't use cash anywhere I go. And then I got home, and then later on that day, I loaded up TikTok, and someone was like, do not ever donate to the Salvation Army because they hate gay people and they hate this, that, and the third. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I gave money to the ops. I was like, I didn't know I was giving it to the ops. Like, no one told me that. Why am I just learning this?
They're gonna dig up this audio and be like, you know what? He supports fucking, I don't know what the hell. You know what I'm saying?
That's gonna be the one clip. They're gonna cut all the rest of the stuff out. Be like, oh, see, he Republican. Look, he be donating to the Salvation Army. This whole time. This whole time. But yeah, and again, if you guys like Christmas and celebrate Christmas, by all means, I'm never judging someone telling them they need to do what I do. But it just, again, at the end of the day, I just want you guys to know what you're supporting, what you're believing in, what you're representing. And again, this whole put Christ back in Christmas, he was never in Christmas. That never had anything to do with Christianity, never had anything to do with Jesus. That is Saturnalia. And also for all you Christians or wherever who, hate gay people, so on and so forth, Saturnalia, it used to be a lot of gay sets because it was like a 7-week event or whatever, and they would get drunk. A lot of gay sets.
It was a lot of orgies. You know what I'm saying? It was just literally about gluttony and fucking lust and fucking.
Literally. Message. Yes, indeed. So on that note, I think it's about that time of the show, Papo. That's the time when we dim the lights. I can't reach none of the light switches from here or whatever.
Let's take the form. I have to disassemble shit to get there.
Yeah, I mean, so it's that time for dedication.
Oh yeah, bitch. Can I hit it raw, please? You didn't even ask. I don't even need to bring a rubber.
No rubber because I'm naturally vaccinated with all of my natural holistic medicines and corn and vitamins and
it's just my genes.
It's just in my genes. Now
hey, you have to refresh it because I have my dedication on there. So I don't know if you see it.
JVN?
Shush. You shush.
Oh, go ahead. I'll let you kick it off. I'll let you kick it off.
I just want to make sure that you saw it.
Oh, well, okay.
If I must interrupt. Now, if you can pull up his things, I guess I will, because honestly, in the realm of kind of how we got into the show, and again, wanting to spread positive vibes and really wanting to be, I don't know, just not passing on hate, right?
Yes.
You can make a sneaky comment and really fuck up someone's day because you never know how it might affect them. And I'm very problematic in that. Lord forgive me. But you know what I'm saying? If you go with intent on just speaking goodness, right? So, hoping that we can speak goodness into life. This brother, who again, you might look at and get mad and think, oh, well, this is just gonna push the gay agenda. This motherfucker's just gay agenda. He's the biggest sweetheart. Have you ever watched Queer Eye? For the some shits, I think they have a bunch of different queer shit.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
So very heavy on the queer, right? Which again, anytime I see that kind of stuff, I'm thinking of stuff like, okay, this is propaganda at its best. But no, he's just living his best life, yo. Like take apart, you know what I'm saying? Whether he's a giver or a receiver, you can definitely tell he's a giver. Or I don't know what the hell the receiver. Whatever the case may be.
Them terms.
He's just the biggest fucking sweetheart, and honestly, I'm so jealous of his Jesus hair, bro.
That is, yeah. This is more. He looks like Jesus. This is definitely the Jesus. I'm getting Jesus vibes from him. This is white Jesus.
This is the white Jesus at a turn. You know what I'm saying? He done lived 40 years of his life and figured, you know what? I refuse to be. I don't know. But he's. I wish I knew more about him. But every single time I see something of his, or he pops up on YouTube, and he's just giving, like you mentioned, these TikToks where they're like these like daily affirmation kind of stuff, like to really kind of get you through your day or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, God bless. You know what I'm saying? Him having this little, this little thing, and Lord forbid this guy ever gets hit with some cancer cold shit of him lowering little boys. But you know what I'm saying? For the most part, from what I realize, you know what I'm saying, he's
Seems like
just
a
the
good
biggest.
person.
He really does. And honestly, if anyone deserves to, I guess, be on the wall, and us, of course, wanting to, bring down walls and binaries and whatnots, this motherfucker is just like the I don't know, the biggest sweetheart. The biggest sweetheart.
Exactly. No, and that's the thing too, because that I was just literally thinking about that recently. Posting dedications on the IG page, and if it's one thing people cannot say about us, or whatever, the dedication wall is definitely what is the word? Inclusive. And what I
Okay.
think the word is inclusive that they use nowadays when you have like a little bit of everything. And that
Yeah.
literally is the dedication wall. It's a little bit of everything. It's all races, shapes, sizes, creeds, orientations, so much like that is the most diverse dedication wall. And that is something that I'm proud of with our dedication wall, just how inclusive it is. Because at the end of the day, you can't say that we hate anybody. We clearly love them all. We love them
Right.
all. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I know. And
In the
speaking of
terms,
in the bit, you dig
uh,
now in the kind of in the realm of that too. I have a dedication. We're kind of same thing. Wherever shouts out to body positivity and women being able to be whatever they want to be, if you will. My dedication goes to Kyla Rose, who is a AEW female wrestler, and she is absolutely cut up and buff.
that is not her in the very middle on the top, is it?
That is her.
That is a leg, boy. I am when I eat my chicken, I mean I love the titty, but god damn, that is a leg. I'm
I
sorry.
had tweeted that I only wish I was half the man that her as a woman is. I am nowhere near like look at
Like,
her.
that Chung Lee kick from Street Fighter is gonna fucking knock you off your ass, boy.
Bruh. And so her hashtag is or her IG is Kyla Rose Fitness or whatnot. And so yeah, she's in wrestling or whatever, but she's also like a fitness model. She does a whole bunch of talk about like dietary stuff or whatever. She does a whole bunch of like gym workouts and all that. But again, just like absolutely cut up, and like it's one thing like looking at her and her pics or whatever and all that. And actually here's a before and after. I don't know how far apart this is, but yeah, this is her back in the day or whatever, and she was just a regular person. This is her now, all cut up and fit with them thighs. And it's one of those things where it's like she makes me want to get in shape. Like I need to work out and look even remotely close to like what she's like.
Reminders. Goddamn fucking
I gotta
earthly
get
reminders.
I gotta get it together. Cause like, look, oh my god, look at that. Look at that.
Dog,
God is clearly a woman, and that's what God's body looks like.
I
God is bang.
honestly, man, I've always in like I said, I would have never questioned fucking uh any of the endeavors that you'd get into. But I've always, so again, I'll take me a little James Charles any day, right? But I always like found it like almost disturbing of how like masculine some of the finds that you have are. But that is perfection though, man. Like that is,
She looks sculpted out of
she
a
does.
like
She
that's a
really
Greek
does.
goddess. Like the
There
body has
you
been
go.
sculpted from marble or whatever and all that. And again, and actually shouts out to this other in the middle, Jade Cargill. She's also in both of these women are in AEW, and as you see, they're both definitely fit. I know Jade Cargill grew up a big fan of China. Everyone knows my love and affection for China,
Oh,
greatest
yeah.
woman ever. And
The
so I
ninth
don't know
wonder of the world.
the ninth wonder of the world. And I don't know Kyla's like background if it has anything to do with China or whatever and all that. But again, shouts out to her. And it's one of those things. Again, I remember I joked about that like a long while ago when, and that might have been when I did the China dedication back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. And again, it comes down to preference and all that. And then the question that I ask, because again, like, okay, so you'll have a China or a Kyla or Kayla, excuse me, or you'll have a Jade Cargill. I think that's how you say her last name. And so you have these women who are buff and cut up or whatever, and so on and so forth, whatever. And then so people would say that, oh, okay, well, they're masculine. So like with them being a woman and they're masculinely built or whatever, shouldn't be attracted to them. Okay, so then would that logic also apply if there's a male who has a feminine body? Then are you supposed to be attracted to that because the body is like feminine? It's like, oh, well, no, that's gay. Then how is that gay? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, again, and that it goes back to the whole thing where, again, I think we as a society too much put stuff in the boxes of masculine, feminine, it's this, it's that, or whatever. Love who you love. That's the message at the end of the day. Love who you love.
Bro,
message.
Have you ever had yourself a big girl? They deep. They deep. They deep. The waters flow.
The waters flow, and big girls know how to give head. I'll say that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my god. Oh my
if you ever
God.
see the bitch eat a corner of the cob and in 60 seconds flat, you got yourself a bad one. A bad one.
Oh my god. I know, and I shared I think it was on the IG page. I had shared this clip. Where's it at? Oh, and actually I can't play the audio, but I'll play the visual for the people. Here we go. Let me share the screen. Speaking of oral abilities or whatever, yo, have you seen the things where they do I still don't know the point of it, but they'll be at the little chef place or whatever, and they'll have the like water bottle and they'll squirt the like water in the mouth or whatever, and the person will sit there and drink the water and see how long they can go. Yo, check out Shorty here. Start the timer. So she ready. You can see it look in her eyes. She ready.
Ooh.
She throw that head back, and then he starts squirting, and she's going, and she's just going, and nothing is. She's not losing a drop. She's swallowing the liquid as it comes in, and she's still going. For the people who are listening, she's still going. They're still squirting the water. She ain't dropped. She ain't lost a single drop. They still go. Oh my God! Still going.
She's catching. They moving it. She's catching, bro.
She
She has been
drip
down, brother. You can't tell me she hasn't. Oh my God, this whole bottle is gone.
The whole bottle is gone, and then the clip ends with this, and y'all can check out the Arizona Soul podcast to check out this little meme. She goes through the whole bottle, and then afterwards is Mike Epps, and you're like, man, I'm trying to see what that's about. You know, I'm trying to see what that's about. You know, because I mean, God,
little pan. She's talking about sucking my dick from the back. I ain't never had that. Never happened to me.
I ain't never had that.
Never happened to me.
Oh my God,
bro! The first time I had a fucking ball sucked on. Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be there.
Oh my God, Shorty, you crazy. You crazy. Oh my God. So on that note, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Good to be back with my brother from another. And again, the plan is to keep this going weekly. We're gonna figure this out or whatever. We're gonna keep this rotation right now on Wednesday. Seems like it's working for the schedules. Hopefully that continues going into the new year, whatever the new basketball season is. I'm gonna try to still keep this day open so we can continue to record on an easy function. And
we need to make Wednesdays holy in the basketball game. NBA, can we get on that real quick?
I mean, that's a holy day. We play basketball on Sundays, not on Wednesday. Wednesday is the holy day. I'm just saying. And also, I won't even get into it, but there's another clip I should have played or whatever where it was getting into religion and all that. It talked about Saturn and Satan and Sunday and Saturday or whatever, and how it's the worship of Saturday is the worship of Saturn, and then Sun is the worship of Jupiter. It was like, you'll notice how all the religions have something to do with celebrating on Saturday or Sunday. These are also, we're worshiping Saturn and Jupiter, but we'll save that for another podcast.
I'm very familiar with the connections to the Capricorn in that essence too. Obviously, it's part of the winter solstice of celebrations. And bro, that's honestly why I think my soul just seeks for redemption so fucking bad. God bless us all.
So good. So yeah, and again, bless us, y'all, by subscribing to the show on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Twitch, anywhere you find podcasts. You can find us. Just search Arizona Soul Podcast. Subscribe to us on social media, on Instagram under Arizona Soul Podcast, on Facebook under Arizona Soul Podcast, on Twitter at Arizona Soul Pod. And I keep forgetting, and I got to update the little notes or whatever. Also, just type in ArizonaSoulPodcast.com. It goes right to our website website business link, if you will. It has all the links right there. So if all these little things are too hard, just ArizonaSoulPodcast.com. You'll find all the links right there on that landing page.
Fucking
You know
easy
what I mean?
peasy, going right into your operating system.
Right into the OS. So and then interact with me. I'm on Twitter. That's where I get my social media fuckery off at. And that's at Peoples. And that's P_E_O_P_L_E_S. Yes, indeed. Peoples Media. You can follow Soul Papo on the IGs, right?
Yeah, for sure. The IGs at Soul Papo and most social medias, SOULPAPO. Honestly, I want to get on the Twitter thing. And I wish more people would fuck with me on the Twiter thing because I'm tired of just watching porn.
I know, and I be on Twitter, and I swear I got jokes, man. I be like, man, I'll drop a tweet, and I'll be like, ooh, I'm killing them with this one. And it'd be like 3 views and no likes. So like me on Twitter, y'all. I need confirmation.
I need them likes.
Yeah. I need them likes. I need that dopamine. So likes me on the Twitters. Let me know you love me. I need to know.
From home. We need this connection.
I need that love. Let me know. I don't want to end up like the Spider-Man that's in our logo for this week. Even though I do got the belly, that's the other reason why Kyler Rose has influenced me. I need to hit that gym. I got to get in shape because this belly. Oh, this belly.
Yeah, when you got the equipment in the home and you ain't using it, motherfucker. You know.
Exactly.
Lord
exactly. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. And again, y'all can talk to us. Call us at 480-588-4688. That's right. Give us a call at 480-588-4688. Don't be like that bitch ass nigga that was talking all that shit on decency, but did not have the decency to call a brother and talk that talk. Yeah, I mean, I'm right here. It's your boy.
I would love to send you a message.
But yes, indeed. Last but not least, if you don't like this podcast, it's probably because you don't like yourself. So
it's plain and simple.
Should work on that because we love y'all. We love y'all, but you need to love yourself. It starts at home. You gotta love yourself. So
it's like charity.
Until next time. Whoa!
God bless you. And salutes.
I got you for the 35, bro. I have to start serving. You know, my son, his medical problems.
Oh, you thought that shit was gonna fly?
Do you know who I am, bro?
Batman.
Exactly. The Dark Knight himself. I'm gonna break your legs. My son has cancer. I don't care about your son. I'm gonna break your leg.
Oh,
what the fuck was that?
Yo, Batman is the biggest villain in all of comic books. I don't care what anybody say. Batman is a horrible, horrible human being. I'm just saying that.
Why, he's just fucking up everyone's day?
Yeah, he's
trying to live.
You be out there in Gotham, you just trying to take care of your people and all that. You just trying to take care of your kids or whatever you need to take care of or whatever. And Batman just swoop right up and break your shit. Like, I don't know. Like, again, there are theories that Gotham wouldn't be as much of a mess if it was not for Batman and fucking everybody up the way that Batman does. Like, literally, the Joker is probably actually the good guy in that story. I'm just putting that out.
You're ass wrong. How? I mean, are we talking the Joaquin Phoenix Joker? Because that motherfucker has some shit to say.
I'm just saying, if Batman wasn't there breaking legs, maybe the rest of those guys wouldn't be so riled up. Maybe they're riled up because this billionaire keeps throwing on this costume and he's going around breaking legs. Like, literally, dude was just selling a fifth. His kid got cancer. He's just trying to pay for some stuff. And Batman, like, oh, good, I get to break some legs.
Suplexing motherfuckers for no reason.
I'm gonna suplex that motherfucker. So, and now here's the real rest of the outro clip.
You're rocking with the best.
Nigga, when my name come up, respect it.